Papa Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good, bad. I'm the guy with the mic.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hello and welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Well, at least we come with a disclaimer now.
Yeah. We come with all kinds of fanciness.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice. She had in the little thing, she had a picture of a squirrel or whatever popping up.
That's her
Oh,
puppet.
that wasn't a picture. That's a puppet. That's Ratatosker.
Well, heck, my name changed. Who did that one? I like that.
I'm the cryptid. He researches me. That's how this relationship works.
Well, it's not like you don't have the sign behind you about the New Chainers Cryptid Research Division.
Yeah. Look, we be doing a lot of different things with chainers.
Oh yeah. So how's it going, everybody? And Ron, welcome back.
Greetings, Earthlings.
You've been away, my friend.
If I may assume that you are
There's the
Earthlings.
crow.
I'm not sure if I am or not, to be honest with you.
I am a state of mind. That's about it.
And also, Mariah, welcome back. We haven't had you for a while either.
Yeah. Freaking holidays, man. I stay busy.
Oh yeah.
Yay, they're over.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe they existed. I don't holiday.
I know you don't.
Oh, that okay. I was like, there's a lot of things I question if it exists. What are we questioning now?
Any holiday, really, honestly, except for Halloween, is all just a lie. It's just a lie.
I feel like such a lame-o. Everybody has virtual backgrounds except me. You can see my dirty office over here.
Oh, I don't have one, but then again, I don't even have a camera. So
I'm trying to figure out how to center it on my drum set, so at least you have something interesting to look at.
Ooh,
Nice
musical
drum
instrument.
set.
I like that.
There you
better.
go.
Looks better
You
than
can
the,
change it.
the basement walls of the dungeon that I live in. The windowless
Ron.
basement walls.
How much is it going to cost me to get you to get really good, super duper double-sided tape and googly eyes to put on your head? No,
Something I
higher.
would do on my own. I don't know if you would pay me to do that.
I didn't know if you meant his actual head or the drum heads. Like I was like, but you wouldn't see the drum heads unless
I was right there too. I was like, what? Why would
That
you
would
do
be
that?
drums.
Googly eyes on my drums. I used to have a bra hanging from it.
Nice.
Not this particular kit, but when I lived in North Carolina, I played drums in a band up there, and there was a Texaco station that was next to my apartment, and one of my buddies, Brent, used to work at that Texaco station. So I'm hanging out with him one night, and he's out emptying the garbage cans around the station, and he finds a bra in one of the trash cans, and he throws it at me. So I took it home and I put it across my drum set, and it stayed on there for quite a while. I mean, we did a couple of gigs, and that bra was always strapped across my drum set, even when we did gigs. And I had a big
North
button.
Carolina guys.
I had a big button of Bart Simpson into the bra that said "Underachiever" and proud of it.
Thus, the band Dumpster Brawl was formed.
You
I
know,
have to ask, where in North Carolina?
Boone.
Holy shit! Nice. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm not sure how that makes a lot of sense, but I'll all right. I'll go with that.
Context. Provide context.
Okay, so
Don't hanging here.
I'm from Fayetteville. Okay, but for a brief amount of time, I lived in Salisbury, which, as you know, is not
It's
far
right next- yeah.
from Boone.
In fact, the singer for the band that I played in was from Salisbury.
Yeah. So when you said the Texaco station, I was like, man, there weren't that many of them around here. And then that's why I asked where you were from. And when you said Boone, I was like, never mind. Makes sense.
Proud graduate of Appalachian State University, and we say Appalachian, not Appalachian.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't do the fancy college thing. I just drove around and went, nerds.
But you were pointing at me when you said that. I
She was
see how-
ogre for Revenge of the Nerds. She just drives around and goes, nerds.
Well,
so
you
I could tell you where I used to work. We had a tradition at Christmas that there was a decoration of a Christmas chandelier in the break room. For some reason, everybody's like, "Oh, it's festive, it's Christmassy." It's like, this is a work facility. Why is there a fake chandelier? But it didn't matter because they put the traditional Christmas panties up on it, and the owner of the facility comes out and she goes, "Oh, what is that? Oh, that's just decorations. Oh, I love it. I don't know what. Someone left a handkerchief up there." Yep.
That's
Sure
what it
did.
is.
Since
Sure
this
did.
is a show about nothing, I have to show you something. It's sitting back here in my window that you can probably see it. Let me grab it.
To the wall.
From the window. That's the song at the end of the night that the Firewoods has been playing in the Firewood section for the last 3 or 4 years. Seriously, they end every night that way with the dance part of that song. Just their section. It's hilarious.
Okay, so this is
I know that video game.
It's a stained glass piece that my father made for me for Christmas.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
So that's stained glass,
Oh, very cool.
That is beautiful.
and he did
is.
it based off of this picture.
Okay.
Okay.
From this book.
Very nice. For a second, I thought it was the guy from the Kung Fu video game from NES.
It does kind of look like that.
But now I see the reference pictures. I get it. That's really cool, man.
So when I was 23,
Four
Yeah,
score and
23.
7 years ago.
this was January 1996 that we did a photo shoot for this book. And my karate instructor, my sensei, said, "You made the back cover." So this book has been around,
I thought that kid
Wild.
looked familiar.
and my father made this from the picture on the book.
That's so cool, man. I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute. That guy looks kind of familiar.
So there's a funny story about this as well. I mean, it's kind of cool that I got to do a photo shoot for a book, but when I was teaching English in Japan, one of my roommates in Japan, his name was Mohammed. We called him Big Mo. And he comes into our flat one day and he goes, "Ron, were you ever in a book?" This was completely out of the blue. And I said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Was it a karate book?" I said, "Yeah." And he was looking around in the bookstore for books on karate because he wanted to start training while he was in Japan. And he saw this book in Tokyo.
That is fucking epic, man.
I was like, holy shit.
Hell yeah.
So that's my little claim to fame right there.
That is awesome.
So that song. Sorry, I missed it.
Oh, back to the song.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Sorry, I missed the story. So I have talked about my son over the years.
No, never.
No, never. I don't. I know. I think I told you we have him working for us at work.
Yeah. Yeah, because the last time you broadcasted from work, he was in the background.
Yeah. So, so as I've told you, this new store that we're at, it has a drive-through window. So when we close the lobby at 10, that's the only way people can get their carry out. My poor child did this to himself. So he's a CSR. He comes in, he works the late shift, he does dishes. And, you know, when we get tied up, because there's like 10 million things to do that late at night, manager wise, we ask him to go to the window and handle the customers. So the first night that he kind of did this, in order to keep himself motivated, every time he went, we would tell him, hey, you know, can you grab the customer that drove up to the window? He would walk from the back of the store to the front going, to the window, to the wall. So now nobody tells him, hey, Christian, can you go grab the customer at the window? It's, hey, Christian. And everybody starts going, to the window, to the wall. This is like the only store I know of that sings that song just to get you to go talk to a customer.
I feel like I want to do a road trip to there while you're working. I want to pull up to the drive-thru window and just be like, fry, pie, large coffee. Y'all got that in there?
Yeah, but he knows you well enough. You know he's gonna keep you there for half an hour talking shit.
He would when he saw me, like when I pulled up, man.
Yeah.
At first, he was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, but you're also gonna mention coffee, and he's gonna go, bruh, where's mine?
I don't even drink coffee. I just, it's got to be part of the order. You got to go classic Mr. Anderson from Beavis and Butthead. Love me some Hank Hill, but Mr. Anderson is where it all started.
History.
Where are you when we need
Was
you?
that the hippie instructor that sang
No,
all
Mr. Anderson was the old guy that they used to harass and fuck with his garbage cans and everything.
Oh.
He was that was the voice that later changed to a slightly higher pitch and became Hank Hill.
Okay.
So, Raz, I want to tell you, it looks awesome when you go and get a little smoke going because
I flicker
like
out.
You look like a spirit in the woods.
I noticed that. I was like, oh, that does look pretty cool. It makes sense, man. It's because like the camera is only picking up the limited range of where I am versus the digital background, so
Right.
it's just a cutout of smoke. And the smoke is still shaped like me, which I find hilarious.
Oh man,
Jeannie got the
I'll
crow
tell
in
you.
the background.
Yeah, I like that one too. That's fucking awesome.
Is it a crow or raven?
Not a clue. It's a stained glass picture that I was sent.
So you should have a stained glass picture too.
I fucking love stained glass, dude. Stained glass is awesome.
The difference
Well,
between
yeah,
mine and yours is yours was made specially for you, and mine is just, hey, it's a pretty picture, Jenny. Have it.
When I was in school, we actually learned how to do stained glass. And when everybody was like, oh, I'm just going to make a pretty cross because that's the easiest thing. I was like, not I. Check this out. I made something that looks so horrible that no one knew what it was. And everybody's like, that's a true work of art because art is in the beholder. I was like, yeah, the pieces just start fitting together. That's not what I was making, but it looked nice.
So my dad's made a lot of stained glass. He's done quite a few things. The oldest one that I had, although I don't know whatever happened to it, was an owl that was done in like all dark tones with black and blue. It was very nice. It's probably about 2.5, 3 feet long by maybe a foot. wide. It was a very large picture, but he's done parakeets, sailboats, trees. Just he actually made one for a musician couple whose names now I can't remember off the top of my head. But, yeah, they I think they're out of Destin, Florida, or Panama City, something like that.
Very cool.
They commissioned a piece of art from my dad. He made one for him.
That is awesome.
I always wished I had like an artistic ability outside of writing and stuff. Like I've tried like almost every medium of art at some point in time, thinking, okay, maybe this will be my thing. And like drawing and painting, I can do abstract stuff's cool, but like otherwise, I can do eyes like amazingly. I'm mad stick figures, man. Just lots of really weird random stick figures. And then I got into I thought I was gonna get into clay work and like a kiln and stuff. So I got in like junior high, so I was like, okay, this is gonna be my thing, and I started learning how to do it. And then I tried to do it. Nope. It came out. I made a house, right, and it came out without a roof because the roof just collapsed and crystallized. And I still glazed the damn thing. And my teacher looks at me. I was like, "What? It's a perfect replica of the Flintstones house." And that was the best that I could do there. I think the only thing I'm kind of good at is sculpting and like making like gore special effects and shit with latex and whatnot. That's about it. I can make some really good intestines. You know,
I can draw, but I wouldn't say it's my strong suit. I did go through about 6 years of art classes, but I basically taught myself how to draw by reading comic books. So everything I draw looks like a comic. I can't seem to draw anything realistically. My sister, on the other hand, she can paint. You know, she can draw, she can paint, and then her daughters and apparently inherited the talent from her. One of my nieces is an incredible artist, and her stuff is that hyper realistic type of art too. She's very
I think the only things I was able to effectively draw was as a child, and it was the cover to the Ren and Stimpy comic book where they did the crossover with Spider-Man and Powdered Toast Man. I drew that cover as a kid, just freehand, like just looking at it and just drawing it, and I drew the title card to the cartoon Rocko's Modern Life. Those are like the only two things as a child I ever drew that actually looked decent. Anything else I tried, just eyes.
So,
I don't know why eyes. It's so weird.
One of the classes that I had when I was in high school in art, one of the classes that we did was on 3D drawing and how to use the blue
Like
and
perspective
green
and stuff?
pencils and how to layer them in order to get the 3D effect. So I did a copy of the back of Weird Al Yankovic's album in 3D.
Wait, which album?
In 3D.
Oh, duh. My brain is dead. Gotcha. I'm with you now.
The album is called In 3D.
In 3D, yeah, I know what you're talking
It's
about.
the one with Nature Trail to Hell.
Yeah. I know the album, just my brain did not like cycle back around to that properly.
How's it going, Tom?
Hey, Tom.
Howdy.
Uh,
I've tried drawing. It never took. My sister, however, she became a tattoo artist. She was actually really good. The only thing I was ever able to do, and it's stupid, was the pen and ink stuff where you take a pen and you drop it in the inkwell and you do it all in little dots.
Yep.
Stippling.
I could do that, but I could only do it like still life stuff. I could do nature scenes and like leaves and trees and stuff, but I never got to a point that I could do, you know, something super cool.
I had a friend in high school. His name was Richard Foley, and stippling was one of his major techniques. That boy, he could make anything realistic just by stippling. And he's still a practicing artist. He sells his work. He does sculptures and metal work and woodwork now, and he's made quite a few things. He sold one piece. I think it was a sculpture of a horse or something like that. He sold one piece to the country artist Eric Church.
Very cool. I didn't think about body art though, because I used to do. Mariah probably remembers. I'm sure she does. I used to do scarification work for people. You use like lye and different like substances and different utensils for different artwork. And I think the coolest one I did was if you looked at someone like if their back was to you, but if their arms were out, we did this whole figure from top. It started at the base of their skull, all the way down to their feet, all the way across their back, their arms, everything, and it looked like an angel. it was really neat the way it was done. It was a lot of work, and probably an immense amount of pain for that person, I would imagine. And that one made like a local magazine, but like I did do stuff like that, which was different. I don't know why it was different on skin than any other medium, but I was okay at that.
How does that work? Scarification. So you're using scars to make the art?
Well,
Yeah.
you create the scarring, the different depths, different things like that for shading. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. It used to be really big in the 90s. Body
How do you
mods like
create
that
the
were really big
scars,
then.
though.
You can use lye. Actually, there's a way to apply lye. Of course, you have to remove it very quickly. You can take very fine-tuned like razors of different length, like pin razors and stuff. And you can there's substances that you can use to create to basically burn the skin very lightly enough to create the scarring. There's a lot of different techniques that they used to use back then, and of course nowadays, highly unlikely they would do the things they used to do back then. But you actually have to go through training on how to do it too.
Do that.
Do what?
Why would somebody want to put themselves through that?
It's no different than like branding. That's a form of it actually.
Well, branding hurts too.
I'm just saying, like, it's just the
And there's
thing that people.
tattooing, so it's essentially the same.
Yep.
And there are some people like me personally. The when I get a tattoo, the endorphin release, I can sleep.
Yep.
Like when I get a tattoo done.
I can't feel it. So the endorphin release I used to get from it back in the day isn't. I still get one. It's just very different now.
Yeah, I can believe that.
So I used to have some friends I always talked to back in early 2000s, and they were actually from Texas. They were from the last freak show that was housed down in Texas.
Yeah.
They didn't travel too much. They just found out that Texas was a lot more accepting of their bizarre and weird. And one of the things that one of my friends brought up was, hey, I've got a buddy that wants to come with me. Is he okay to come to Ohio and meet you? I said, yeah. And he was the Lizard Man. What had happened was he actually got scales tattooed onto him. But for him to do the effect, he actually had a scar come through and scar up the back of the scales, and they gave that rugged bump all over.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that he became the Lizard Man was he had a piercing in his tongue, and he got in a motorcycle accident,
And
it ripped it out.
Yeah.
And he said, just nowadays you have so many people that are like, oh, well, look at this, or oh, that person's this way, or that. And he loved going to Waffle House and just watching the people watch him eat, because he would actually use his forked tongue to wrap it around the fork and stick his food, and then he would take it from his tongue into his mouth, and he would eat the food off the fork with his tongue, just to get people to freak out a little more after they start staring at him. And one person looked at me and said, why do you sit here? You seem like the normal person. Why do you sit here with them? I said, what's wrong with these people? I'm more afraid of you.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, darling, I won't hurt you. And I'm like thinking, at least you can tell that these guys are a little different. You look like an average person. And I've seen what Jeffrey Dahmer can do.
Right.
I'm not looking forward to a boiled bunny. No, thank you.
He was such a nice, quiet young boy.
Yeah.
He was from Ohio, wasn't he?
Mm.
Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah, there's a couple of things about.
I keep telling you guys about the weird shit in Ohio, man, but legitimately, serial killers have been active or are from here than anywhere in the world. You can look that up.
Right.
It's something in the water? Question mark?
Dahmer, Manson. It's a long list.
Flowing down from Flint, Michigan.
No, we stop that shit before it hits our border.
We built a wall, man.
Yeah, that's right.
It's Michigan trying to poison us, man. I know what it is. It's Michigan
I
trying
know.
to poison us.
Yep. It's that football rivalry, and
Right?
it got so intense they poisoned. Literally, they had to poison all of Flint, hoping it would hit our waterway, and it didn't pan out for them, unfortunately.
Right. And we joke about a lot of things, but Ohio is absolutely such a weird and still inspirational place to live. It's so weird here, even the weather feels like it needs to jump in there.
Yep. I know a lot of states say that about their weather, like the whole just wait thing, but like I highly recommend that you keep an eye on Ohio weather once in a while. Look at almanacs, look at like Ohio history. It is fucking weird. We have had blizzards in like March and May. Like
ooh. I can give you a pin. Like I can drop a pin down on this. And on one side of this house, there'll be no snow. On the other side of this house, there's 3 inches. And I even asked the National Weather Service, "Hey, I'm from Bacchians. Any idea why your weather splits right?" We don't know. We have no idea. In fact, we even noticed it.
Yep.
You guys have the motto where the water divides and the people unite, and the weather is weirder than crap. I said, well, you guys added the weather is weirder than crap. He goes, that should be on your motto. We
Yeah,
can't
man. I
make
mean, Ohio's weird when you can be wearing shorts and a t-shirt out on Christmas Day, and then exactly 1 week later you're bundled up because it's like 32 degrees outside.
Dude, it was freezing and very light snow that like melted as it hit the ground, but on Halloween, and then warm on nice on Christmas. That was a really weird one for us.
Like the thing here, we keep saying North Carolina, as far as weather, is the hold my beer state. It's the only place where in the span of 7 days, you can literally go through all 4 seasons of the year like 6 times.
That's one day.
Yeah.
That's here in one day.
Let me show you what the motto is, because it requires hand gestures for Ohio. It's just aliens.
I'm not saying it's aliens.
But it's aliens. I mean, I literally grew up right up against Wright Pat Air Force Base, so I got all kinds of stories about that I know that Jenny and I are going to definitely talk about aliens on the other show that we do.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I'll tell you.
I'll save those stories for them, but I got a lot. I definitely got a lot, man. There's just weird shit.
So much that is weird, and you know what? Some of the people just don't understand it. And somebody made a comment that, the weather wasn't as weird as it is until we got the wind turbines. And then we didn't have as many tornadoes until we start putting roundabouts in. And I looked at him, I said, you are absolutely totally confused on that factor. I mean, I like the way you're going with this, but
it's fun and funny, but a roundabout would not...
theory. I mean, Mariah can probably attest to this, but Boone, it's situated in a valley town, so it's surrounded by mountains. So imagine like a big cereal bowl.
Yeah.
So when it snows, and it just fills up that bowl. And any given winter, 4 feet of snow is considered average. At least, it was when I was a kid. I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know what it's like now. But I mean, I can't imagine it's changed all that much. But 4 feet of snow was considered average. And I get to Ohio, and it's mostly flat. So winter's here, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna hate the winters here. They're so bad and everything." Like, I've been here for 13 years, and none of the winters have ever been as bad as anything that I experienced when I lived in Boone.
I can only think of one that, it would have missed you because it was back in 2005. That was the last really bad one we had. The National Guard was called out to help remove snow drifts. It was so bad that my at the time fiance, because we hadn't been married yet, my first wife, she was here visiting. She ended up staying. We got our first apartment, and we were there for around Valentine's Day. And that's the year I said it also snowed in March, because it did. It snowed in all of December, January, and then it stopped. And then right after Valentine's Day, it was so bad we could not open our front door to get out to get supplies or to get anything. And it so happened we had a townhouse, and we had a ladder, like a big old collapsible ladder, like in our living room, because we had used it for something to get up, like where the loft was near the ceiling and stuff. And we hadn't had a chance to get it back to my dad, so I had to carry it, figure out a way to get it all the way upstairs and position everything, and then open a window and put that ladder down just to get out of the house to do the front door in order to be able to open it to go out. And then we had to use bungee ties to keep our doors closed because our car was so frozen that we finally got it to start. We let it warm up for 30 minutes and it still didn't quite thaw out all the way. And the door locks would not close the door. The latches would not. They just stayed frozen open. So we just bungeed the car doors together on the inside. I'm holding the bungees like this in the passenger seat, and she's just driving to the grocery store.
I remember being a little kid, and we
Can't imagine
had
you were ever a little kid, Pile.
no. I when I was younger, I was actually really thin. I was surprised at that myself. I turned into a big beast of a man. Me and a bear get along. He wears the same shirt size as I do, apparently. Anyway,
The same beard and goatee when you were a kid.
no, yeah, no. Actually, until I was 21, I was clean shaven 100%. When I turned 21, I did some security stuff, and I was like, you know what? I like this because I can look at people and go, I'm gonna mess you up. Oh yeah, I'm gonna whoop you. Man, this is gonna be great.
Now, where I
And
come from,
that-
they go, "You ain't right in the head, is you?"
Nope, I ain't.
I think I was
But
born
no.
with a beard and a blunt. It just came out that way. Beard, blunt. Okay, let's go live.
But anyway, it was really interesting because I remember being on Christmas break, and our Christmas break didn't end until the end of January because the snow conditions were just so horrible.
Oh,
And everybody was like, is this ever going to stop? And us kids were like, nope.
Oh yeah, I remember some bad winters when I was a kid over here in Ohio too, man. Just terrible shit. And we also get the ice storms every so many years, like the really bad ice storms. The last bad one we got was somewhere around, I want to say like 2013, 14, 15. I was somewhere in that range there, and the ice was so bad. We had like almost upwards of a foot or more of ice in places beneath all the snow. And the snow wasn't bad, but the ice was terrible. It was free. It was actually getting to the point where it was building up on power lines so much. They were just dripping and power lines were getting ripped.
And I was riding my bike to work
We-
through that shit.
Yeah, that was fucking scary shit. That's the last time it was like scary ice.
So when we had that ice storm, I was living with mom and dad, and we would open up the door of the back door, and you could hear snap, and then from the
Yep.
branches just bending, they would snap and they would just fall down.
Yep.
And you could hear all that, and that was before our field even existed. Anything there? Any thoughts of that? And I remember it was just a mist. It was cold enough that it was freezing instantly, but it was just a mist that was coming down.
It was like a giant walk-in freezer. How a walk-in freezer looks when you go in, you see like the mist coming out and stuff. It was like that, but
Right.
the mist was thicker.
Yeah, and we went over to the railroad, and I called the railroad telling them that the gates are down at this state route, and they said, "Oh, what's the number?" And I gave them the identification code right there, and they flat out said, "So this is in Ohio, and what's the problem?" I said, "Ice is on it." "Oh, darling, we've never seen that. We're from Florida."
Yep.
I said, "Well, that's fine, but that's happening right now." I said, "You need to get somebody here." I said, "Or there's going to be a truck that slides down here and takes these gates out." "Well, if they're blinking, darling, they should be perfectly fine because once they're down until they go back up. And once a train goes through, it'll reset." I said, "You don't understand. There's ice on it, and there's too much weight on here." And she goes, "I cannot imagine that." I said, "Ma'am, understand this." I said, "There's a lot of places that don't have power because it's on the lines and it's snapping the power lines."
Yep.
And she goes, "You just be making that up." I said, "Here, let me make you a deal. I'm going to get off the phone and I'm just going to let this happen." I got off the phone and I went and I took a rubber mallet and I start smacking that rail, and you could just see the ice just busting off of it. It was like glass. It was busting off, and then one arm started going up, but the other arm on the other side wasn't. So I start smacking it. And then a truck, as soon as them gates go up, this truck, he is trying his hardest to stop and stop and stop and stop and stop. That was the time that there was so many cars in the ditches that everybody said, just seriously, just stay home.
The ditches were filled in with cars.
I-75 was terrible.
Oh my god!
I mean, you would go out the back door and you would just hear them hit each other.
So the same person I was previously married to, after being convinced that was snowpocalypse, she was South American, born in Puerto Rico, and then didn't move to the States until she was an adult, like a young adult. And so she was terrified. Like, then the ice thing happened, but now we're at a house instead of an apartment, and we have what Dayton considered and still considers, because the tree's still up, most of the tree, the biggest white oak tree in all of Dayton, Ohio, and and this is a normal sized yard and property, like, in the city. It's not very big. So this tree went over the entire property above us, and it was gorgeous. It was one of the reasons we wanted the fucking house, not thinking something like this would happen. And first, it's the power lines ripping. You hear that. You hear them just split. Power goes out. Then it's the cracking. And the cracking goes on for probably a good 10, 15 minutes. Just crack, crack, crack. Like, terrible. And then enormous sections of the tree broke off and went through the garage and through the front porch, through the back window of our bedroom, like, and other parts in the house just started dropping and falling to the house. And we're just sitting there like, so now we've got 3 dogs at the time. It's her and I. We're literally going to freeze to death at this point in time, because now there are, lack of windows, gaping holes like through the roof, no porch, no power, no nothing. And we're like, fuck. And this was the point where they were telling you to not go outside, because you would literally freeze to death if you were out. Like, there was no amount of like layering you could do that would last long enough if you had to be out for any time, like any length of time. So thank God a friend of ours had like a giant living room and a huge sectional couch, because we literally had to get all 3 of the dogs together. Hope my fish survived it, because there was no way, because I had a 55-gallon aquarium. There was just nothing I could do about it at the time. And took the fuck off with the dogs, went there and like basically had to live in her home for a good week in order to like not basically die. And in that time, we were able to get people to come back to restore power. Well, the power actually was the last thing. We got what patch needed. My dad came over. We patched what we could patch during the day when it was a little warmer. And finally, they fixed the power and we were able to go home. But it was the craziest thing. It was all the ice storms and things I've seen, like that with the tree thing. And then like all around town for the next week or two, you hear the crack, 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 crack everywhere. It was so weird.
I remember after everything melted, me and Dad went down to the field to look at the trees and see how bad it was. And it was terrible just seeing how many branches, big branches, small branches, whatever. And me and Dad went down with rope, and we were tying trees to other limbs, because one limb would be like this and you'd tie it to get it back up. And then the trees, after years, they grew around that rope. So, Rez, if you come up to the field, I'll show you one of the ones
I'm definitely coming up to the field this year.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll show you one of the ones that have the knot, and you can actually see the rope in it from that storm. I mean, it's a constant reminder that as much as you think that you're going to be prepared, Mother Nature will test you on it.
Yeah. And that was just with ice. I mean, holy fuck. Like,
so if someone from Florida, they can't comprehend, that much ice or the danger that would cause, just ask them, you ever lived through a hurricane? Because imagine a hurricane, but it's with snow, and instead of lightning, you've got wind hurling shards of ice at you at 2 miles per hour.
Yep.
Blowing stuff off the road.
Well,
you ever had a transformer blow in a hurricane?
The one, yeah, oh yeah, the transformers left and right were blowing. I remember that.
Did you know they don't know? Oh yeah. Do you know they don't know how to handle weather road hazards in Florida? At least around Orlando. We were down there one year visiting my ex-wife's parents, and it was actually cold. It actually snowed a little bit and iced in Orlando when we were down there, and all this ice just started building up on the highways. And they were like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? It got so bad. There was this giant icicle forming over a major fucking highway. A semi was driving under it. Well, no one cleared it because they didn't think to. The thing broke off and went through the windshield and killed the fucking trucker while I was down there. I wasn't on the highway with him, thank God. Like, we were at home, like, watching it on the news. But it was, when it happened and where it happened was exactly where we had been like 3 hours previous, in that exact spot. Me looking up going, they ought to clear that.
Yeah. And I bet you Steamboat Willie didn't even think about that.
All right, Friday.
He's free.
Malaya, you're
I
both
could bring
looking
him up.
right over there. What's your 2 cents?
That's
on
plain crazy.
Oh, I have plenty of 2 cents about weather and snow and whatever.
Let's hear it.
I think my favorite story as a kid, we had a wood heater on purpose because we were on the Appalachian Mountains in the Soddy Daisy area of Tennessee.
What was that? Apple what? Apple what?
Appalachians.
Huh? What? How's that pronounced? What was that again?
Well, you can deal with it or you can't. Either way.
Jeez, Ron. She'll call you out on that. Be kind, rewind, Ron.
Right.
Either way.
All right. Go ahead. Appalachian.
1993,
Okay.
my favorite one of all. Made sure we had plenty of firewood, food, whatever. My parents made sure that happened. Luckily, I was a kid, so I didn't really have to worry about that other than bringing in the firewood. My sister and I would go out and play. I didn't understand how I was too heavy. I just jumped out and face planted and sunk. My sister comes out and she's just standing on top of the snow, and I'm like, that's not fair.
Oh, been there, done that.
That's epic.
But the power went out and all that good fun, but we weren't too worried because we could sit in the living room and be warm. Had plenty of books because big readers my mom and dad were.
Oh, yeah.
The hard part was the little old people at the nursing home. Luckily, they had generators, and my dad was the best at driving on any type of weather because he was a truck driver, and he was home. So I ended up having to take my granny to work, his mom, and come get her because she was in the loft about to let her little old people not be taken care of. But I think,
Well, that's understandable job to try getting to.
oh yeah, the nursing homes. That's always the nursing homes and the hospitals. It's always hard on them. Like when we had the hurricane Ike here in Texas, everything went down. And we were living in Huntsville, and Martha decided to stay at the nursing home for a couple of days. And she's sleeping on one of the cots, and we'd just go bring her food because the nursing homes was right behind our apartment building where she was working at. So that lucked out. It was bad because the Domino's, they just said get rid of the food, and they're like, nope. We had a grill. It was right across the street, so we had grills in the middle of the apartment complex, and they just brought over the food, and they just cooked it and gave it out to everybody who came, and that was great.
Oh, yeah.
I love
there's a-
weather, and I hate weather.
There's a story that
Whether it will
You
or
just-
whether it won't, you just don't know.
You decide.
There's a
Tonight at 11.
there's a story that you just remind me of when you said cook the pizzas. Little Caesars got a semi trailer and a
Pizza,
tractor
pizza.
stolen, and when they got stolen, they couldn't figure out where it went. This was before they had GPS trackers in it.
But that cost them a lot, though.
Yeah. Well, the trailer was dropped and parked right beside a homeless camp, and the tractor was parked over by a trucking place. Okay. Well, the second one got stolen just like that too, and the trailer was dropped by the homeless, and they were just like, Why? How can you do this? Because Domino's, you can make over a campfire.
I thought it was Little
Or
Caesars.
not Little Caesars. My bad.
Okay, don't be Little
I'm just
Caesars
saying.
tease, man. I'm obsessed with Little Caesars.
Do you like Little Caesars? Because
Fucking love Little
apparently Fred don't.
Little
Oh, I know he doesn't. I know he doesn't. It's a long story. Most people don't actually like it, or most people are lying, or just won't admit they like it. But I truly actually love Little Caesars pizza.
It's,
We call
it's
it little
cheap,
greasers
it's cheap
here.
and it's easy, so just like a lot of the girls I knew and never mind. What are we talking about?
Accurate.
I love Little Caesars so much that I've had the weirdest dreams about it. My favorite one was like I'd get good grades on my report card, so my dad would take us down and we'd park in front of Little Caesars and we'd get a pizza and just stop. And
Fantastic.
that'd be my reward. My dad's home, I get to have daddy time. And the dream I had was us doing that, but the water was in the air and there was all types of fish, like that episode of Doctor Who. Everything's in the air, but it was above us. And we could watch the life of the ocean just swim above, and we just sat and ate and talked.
Well,
That is how much I love Little Caesars. But I love Little Domino's too.
pizza. It is time for me to jet, guys.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say jet because we have Jet's Pizza here. So we're just talking about pizza. I got a jet.
Good jet. Yeah, I'm gonna go get this whole pizza industry thing
Now
done.
it's time to say goodbye.
But I'll catch you all later. I'll try and
Bye.
be around a little bit more.
Whenever
Well,
you
I
come in,
hope
it's
you-
always a pleasure.
D-E-D.
It was very nice talking with you, and I hope that your hut stays nice and warm.
So do I. I hate it here.
Hey, pal, you want to play some dominoes?
We can do pizza
Our-
jokes if you want. We'll start
that's
with pineapple.
The guy who delivered pizza had knocked on the door in the little. We used shave and a haircut whenever we went to each other's houses to just say, "Hey, we're here," before we open the door.
Yeah.
So he knocks and he doesn't open the door, and we're like, "Hey, Ted, what's wrong?" And he knocks again, and so we go and open it. I'm like, "Oh, hi! We thought you were one of our friends." Oh, okay, but that was always awesome. After
No, it
that,
was
we
like,
knew who
we
was
thought you were one of
coming.
our friends. Would you like to be?
It puts the tomato sauce on the skin.
The
else
secret
it's
is in the
no good.
taste.
The
The
taint.
secret's in the sauce.
Oh no! But honestly, the weather and the roads have not nearly been as bad ever since they start using that beet juice. But the side effect to that beet juice is that if you have rain before, they can now apply it correctly.
And plus, everything is obviously sourced from Dwight Schrute's beet farm. And he's kind of hard to deal with at times. Sorry, I
Hey,
love
Friday.
the office.
Hey, Friday. You remember
Hi.
that joke, don't you? That joke I told you on, what was it? Thursday? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Friday actually.
What? Yeah, it was
Friday.
Friday. It was Friday on Friday, wasn't it?
Okay, that
yeah.
sounds like Light After Dark.
You
we
ever
were
heard the
talking
song
about-
Fred's Riding?
Yes.
Fred's riding, Fred's riding, Fred's riding, Fred.
Nope.
Every time I seen Fred and they said, hey, I'll be there, I'm riding with Fred. I'm like, that's a bad song, man.
I got a picture of Fred riding a hobby horse that was like less than a foot off the ground, and he wiped out trying to ride it.
I do not know that song.
You don't know Fred's riding, Fred?
Mm-mm.
You do now.
Dude, you got to listen to it.
You've heard the title and one bar. So now the journey begins.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
You're like, "Eh."
the basis is the cowboy's name is Fred. The horse's name is Fred. And Fred rode into a town named Fred.
On Fred.
On Fred. And
Which
Fred
Fred on
made a-
Fred in Fred.
Fred,
You know,
yeah.
Ray Stevens had a song called Fred.
And then on top of that, Fred met a girl or met a girl
Name Fred.
named Fred. So Fred's riding, Fred's riding, Fred's riding Fred.
Should be
It's an
Fred's
open
writing
loop.
Fred, writing Fred and Fred.
There was a
Because
whole
you're in
bunch
the
of.
town of Fred. I mean, potentially,
was funny,
at some point
he
in time, you're
goes-
also in
he goes-
Fred, but
There was a cowboy. I don't remember his name. We'll call him Fred. He rode on a horse. I don't remember his name. We'll call him Fred. Rode
Yeah.
into a town. I don't remember the town. Name Fred. So, and then it gets to a girl. Didn't remember the girl's name, so he named him Fred. Yeah, it's a good little Bob and Tom
yeah.
little thing.
Okay, that makes much more sense now.
It didn't top the charts, if that's what you're thinking.
Dude, I was job shadowing for TUE when Bob and Tom did the What a Pair billboards with the shot of the girl's boobs in the bikini. And
Yeah.
one of my jobs while I was job shadowing, I was in high school still, like literally job shadowing for like job shadowing stuff, is I had to field all the calls that were specifically about that billboard through WTUE and reply to people. Like obviously when they would call in. I didn't have to do emails. That wasn't as big of a thing then. But I also had to listen and take notes of all the best voicemails. And if they were really outrageous, I had to record them over to the system so Bob and Tom, where they were located, could play them through on their show.
Yeah.
I was probably one of like a million kids or like interns like all across the United States just doing this for them at their local stations, I would imagine. 'Cause there was a ton of people doing this.
Oh no, there was somebody that made a comment that they thought Bob and Tom lived in Georgetown and lived in Germantown and worked in Dayton.
No, that was all broadcast through the magic of the air.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's like, I seen Bob. He was on the golf course.
Well, I mean, they did celebrity stuff, like celebrity golf tournaments. They did stuff where they went to different cities, like all the time. I mean, that was just part of
Right.
the tours and everything.
Right.
They
But
were a huge show.
they-
They had a lot of celebrities, and
They're
guest
still
actors
on.
there as well.
They're still
well,
They're still on. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
one of them
Tom's
retired.
there.
Yeah, Bob retired. He does come back every great now and then, like just like as a one-off thing. But yeah, Tom's still there. The show's still called Bob and Tom.
Yeah, my
It's
father
like
was
they.
a fan of Bubba the Love Sponge when he was on the air.
Do you remember the Big Butter Jesus song?
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you guys at home, if you're not from Ohio, look up Big Butter Jesus, the song.
Yeah.
This was an actual giant statue of Jesus right along I-75. Anyone who lives anywhere near here in Ohio has drove by this thing a million times. I was one of the very large amount of people that were stuck in traffic watching it burn the day that it actually caught fire from lightning
Oh.
and burnt to the ground.
That was before my time.
It was
He had so many different names. It was Big Butter Jesus, Touchdown Jesus,
I caught a fish this big Jesus, $5 footlong Jesus.
H Jesus because it was OHIO.
Yeah,
He
and then
was the H.
it was go Jesus that for a little while.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
what they did was, after this thing burnt down, again, a lightning strike, they decided, oh, it's insured. We're going to rebuild it. And so
Mhm.
they
They
never
have
posed,
one.
but it's been rebuilt now, and it's even bigger and better.
It's taller now. It's
What about
not
that
bigger.
giant basket, the Longenberger that used to be the Longenberger factory? And is that
It's still there.
Still there?
It's still there. It's still for sale.
I want to buy it and put a haunt in there and call it Hell in a Handbasket.
We need to we need to do that for Hell's Dungeon, like
Yeah.
a second location.
I swear, somebody needs to buy it and put a haunt in there because, I mean, damn, that's a choice opportunity.
Dude, if I had that kind of money, I would definitely do that. I would
Yeah.
definitely fucking that would be like such a niche thing. Like that would be on Atlas Obscura for sure, and everyone would come and see this thing.
Well, if somebody does it, then I take credit for it. So give credit where credit's due. I don't have the money to buy it. Give me a couple $1 million.
All right, guys.
Maybe.
If you're listening at home, spread the word. We're going to start a charity fund, like a GoFundMe,
GoFundMe.
where you can help us buy this for Hell in a Handbasket LLC, and we're going to create a haunt for a giant handbasket. But don't worry, there will be living quarters and a couple studios in there as well, because trust me, there's room. We
It'll be
got
the home
this.
of the Owlite Network.
Yep.
We'll all broadcast from there.
Yep. And then we'll eventually move it to the ghost town that we're all going to buy together.
Oh my
Terror
gosh.
Town.
What?
We'll buy out Terror
Do we
Town.
know what name it is yet?
No, because it's still the Lonberger
And-
basket.
Burger?
Yeah.
It's still for sale,
I
I,
mean,
do
the
believe.
name of the ghost town.
Oh no, there's 17 different ghost towns for sale. Last I checked a couple months ago in Ohio right now, and all of them are mostly worth buying. Some of the ones that I've seen some around the 500,000-600,000 mark that actually have about 14, 15 homes that are in good shape
Building.
and serviceable with power. They've got little downtown areas that actually have shops ready to go. One of them even has a hotel. It's like a 2-star hotel, but like it just needs updated a little bit. Like, so some of these places have like they're ready to live in and ready to go. Some of them are obviously a little over $1 million, but like this one I was looking at, man, it's just a really tiny ass little town. Kind of reminded me a little bit, but in better shape of the town in the newest Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that came out on Netflix. Like that, like where they've got the homes, the businesses. It's like a strip or two, and that's just the whole town. That's all you have.
And that's a choice opportunity right there too. If you could get up the money to buy one of those little towns, because you could open it up to having film crews come in there,
Exactly.
make their movies. God, you know how
Exactly.
much money you
So-
can make off of that?
Dude, I've been planning this for 20 fucking years, dude. For 20 years, I've been working on business plans upon business plans, revising them every couple years to literally get enough money to do this for multiple industries. You could have a year-round haunted house that's inside. You can have a campground. You know, you can have your hotel. You've got like all these different businesses you can attract people with. The conventions you could do, like a whole town convention, like the convention sizes, the shit that you could do, plus the filming, everything else.
The bands
And-
coming in to record their music videos.
Studios in town, like how to convert like old like shipping containers and shit into like nice like studios. Like I've got like literally details of all this shit, right down into the traditional campgrounds, doing tiny home villages instead of like a traditional shit. Like crazy ideas that would make a lot of money. Shit that would like turn around fairly quickly. Like you'd get your money back fairly quickly with that many different possible businesses.
And there's a huge independent film community here in Ohio as well.
Huge.
Just with all the independent filmmakers constantly looking for people.
Mhm.
You know, they're casting for their movies, and you know, some of them
Between Cleveland and
actually
Cincinnati,
get
man.
made. They need to be filmed someplace.
Honestly, a number of the ones that I'm looking at, the one I got my eye on the most, isn't all that far away from Cincinnati. It's like between Middletown and Cincinnati, the one I really wanted
Mhm.
to pick up. But yeah, this is that's like probably my lifelong dream because I'm obsessed with drive-ins also. So of course I got to put a drive-in there. And I figured out a way how to make a new kind of drive-in with a parking, like an open parking garage block structure. It sounds crazy, but
Sure.
you get one of the like a double size of the traditional screen or the screens that are around now, right? And you build like it's basically like a half a parking garage in height because you don't want to go too high or you're not gonna see shit.
Friends 2,000-inch TV.
Basically. So then you build a structure though out of recycled concrete, obviously, for the environment to save money, and plus it's just as good. And then
What,
You
make it
run-
like 3 levels and all of the spots face the screen?
4 or 5 probably. It just depends on the height of the screen you get. But yeah, I mean somewhere between 3 and 5 levels depending on it. But the cool thing about it is you've got PVC piping ran through the whole thing, so you can run your hot water through it, which is basically in-floor heating. There's more to it than that, but hell yeah, it's a big basket. But you do all your heating and stuff, but then you have little benches at the front of every parking space, so you don't have to even bring chairs anymore. Like the speakers built into the concrete.
Newark, Ohio, 7 stories,
Nerk.
and it is the biggest basket in the world.
That's
So,
a basket case right
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
that's very
But-
fitting now that I have that behind me.
Also,
But
so like
yeah, I mean,
you can have your
All in a
snack
hand
bar.
basket. It's there. All in a hand basket.
You go to the middle of the parking garage, right? You've got your bathrooms on each level, your snack bar, shit. Then you got your whole projection booth built into the very top of the structure. Actually, like the middle front of the structure, but so it's a self-contained thing. And even rooms, like small, like hotel type rooms, so you can actually make it a hotel because there's a hotel out on the other side. I want to say Kansas. It's like shaped like a U. The whole building is,
Mhm.
and there's literally a drive-in, so you can watch the drive-in movies like from your room with the speakers. It's crazy.
I'm so glad she didn't change my name to basket case.
The other cool side about the parking structure design is that you can have 4 screens.
Just a basket case hazard.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. We're like doing this, the start of this, and it pops up, and I'm like, I didn't do that. How'd that happen? And she's like, I did it. I was like, well, you know more than I
Me?
know.
Jenny has control of a lot of stuff.
Jenny's got the Five Nights at Freddy's face behind her.
No, I got our owl behind me.
I was gonna say that's the owl.
Is that what? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
That was
Well-
that was one of the first owls, the steampunk owl.
How about that little golden owl from Clash of the Titans?
Oh, I love that thing so much, man. I love that fucking movie, especially the original one with the claymation.
Yeah.
Remake was okay, it wasn't bad, but I just the claymation, man.
All right, Friday, give me a good name. Change my name.
Give you a good name? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
Let's see
thinking.
what to change it to.
I love
Well,
this
she's
thing.
thinking. So I invented a new word today for all you at home. We were trying to discern the
Lump
difference
lump?
between people that
Fuglump?
Fuglump. Yes, it's Fuglump. So it's when you create art professionally, like in a professional manner, but you don't actually receive money from it, so people don't
Mhm.
consider you a professional. You are a Fuglump. Fuglump, sorry. You are a
I
Fuglump.
don't know. I like Fuglump better.
No,
I've been called a lot of things in my life, just
I've
never a
never been called a
Fuglump.
Fuglump.
It originally was a Fuglump, and I was like, that sounds maybe like I could get in trouble, so I changed it to Fuglump.
I don't know. Fuglumps just sounds like a state of mind. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm
That's
not
why it
Good
sounds
Friday,
better,
but
man.
I mean, like,
What did
Monday
you call
morning,
me,
you get
boy?
up, you haven't
Yep,
had your
I'm a-
coffee, and you know you got to go to work.
I'm a Fuglump
know,
artist.
I feel like I'm in a fugue, and I'm just a lump. So I'm
Exactly,
I'm
you're a
that
Fuglump artist.
at work.
Oh, what's that song? My lump. You like my thugger lump.
Fugalumps. That sounds like the
I love you,
Huffalumps.
Lumps.
And Huffalumps
Yeah,
were
the
a
Huff-
thing.
The trouble.
The cartoons and
That's
stuff.
that's yeah.
Mhm.
My daughter used to watch that video on repeat, and then she got in trouble, and she's like, I can't watch it because the TV's gone. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I don't know where the TV is. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know where TV is either. It came
remember-
down to the laboratory.
I remember when the Huffalumps were huge when I was a kid when they came out. Man, they were insane.
Huffalumps,
Yep, Huffalumps.
like Sesame Street.
I don't think they were Sesame Street. Maybe they were.
Mm-mm.
I thought the Huffalump
I don't
was
think they
like
were.
Big Bird's friend or something. The big like
And that was Snuffleupagus.
stuff. Okay, never mind. No, maybe that was a Fraggle Rock thing. Was that Fraggle Rock?
Nope. Okay, it was its own thing. It started in well, kind of Disney-ish. It was Pooh. The Huffalumps were a
Pooh.
thing from Pooh. It
Oh.
was
Yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
elephant things.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. Rue was so scared of him, and Winnie was telling him not to be so scared. And then the introduction of the pink elephant showed up.
It's like a
Which
purple and
we-
pink elephant. And it's got like a
we
hat
had-
sweater on that has an H on the front of it.
We had a competition a while back that you could win some free tickets from us if you could tell me what was the scariest thing in a movie? What was the scariest character in any movie to you? Well, we got everything from the leprechauns, we got Jason, we got all this wonderful stuff. And then this woman, she goes, the pink elephants from Dumbo.
Oh, dumb.
I
We're
said,
elephants on parade. We're
I
elephants
said,
on parade.
what? And she goes, yeah, that always freaked me out to the point that I was a little kid crying. And I was like, okay, she gets some tickets. She gets some
That was a
tickets.
tricky
I'm
scene,
giving her
though.
tickets.
I remember the animated Dumbo from back when I was a kid, and that is a whole trippy scene, man, with the dancing pink elephants.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah, I mean,
so
Dumbo getting
different than like the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, there was two movies that really brought in the poison of alcohol, and that was Pinocchio and Dumbo. Those were the two that the characters were getting drunk and things were happening to them and this and that. And it's like
Alcohol's bad. Okay. Okay.
that's exactly. I mean, today, children, we're going to talk about okay.
Did you guys ever see the Doctor Who and Dr. Seuss crossover?
No.
Speaking of elephants, it was called Horton Hears a Who.
Oh boy,
Oh,
I have not seen
that's
that.
funny. Horton-
yeah.
I was
That's
like,
thinking right
well,
now. It was a
that-
bad
that was
joke.
a-
but
well, I
Who
was like,
was it the timey-wimey stuff? The timey-wimey who?
no, it's just in general. It was a long time ago, man. It was, when,
Wobbly
it was when the book first came out.
Okay.
the doctor.
That's when Horton first heard the Who.
Well,
And,
would
you
that have
know
been
what?
Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend? No.
Yep. Let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
You know, that's really funny, and I like that. And
I'm a terrible person. I know. I can't help it.
Horton Hears the Who.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's also his first music festival.
You didn't think the Pigs in Space Who crossover share was bad, so we're good.
pigs in space.
All right, what are we crossing over with pigs in space?
Everything.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, that was the last one I shared.
That'd be interesting.
Doctor Who. Hey,
I gotta
Doctor
say-
Who. Doctor Who.
You were doing that song last time. I gotta say, I meant to say this the last Padded Cell we did. I finally caught up with like all the Disney co-produced Doctor Who specials they did, like to close out Jodie's time, and they brought David Tennant back. They brought back Donna, like different characters, and then going into Ncuti Gatwa, I think is how you pronounce his name. I'm trying to pronounce it properly. And I gotta say, like, I was stupid impressed. Right off the bat, like you could see the amount of money like Disney helped put into this, because the specials, they were some high dollar shit. Like the tech was great. Like all the the digital special effects were 10 times what they ever used to be in the show, which was cool. I was happy with it the old way. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But like they put some effort into this, man. And the new Doctor, I'm already kind of in love with the new Doctor. Like straight up, I enjoyed Jodie as the female Doctor. I love that we had a female Doctor. The writing for her wasn't great, and that's what killed me, because she is such a good actress, but the writing was just not there. Like they did a lot of weird lore switching out and fucking up, and
So what
but
you're
we got
saying
back over to
is-
Russell, and it went really well.
So what you're saying is Doctor Who is something that Disney is not going to exterminate.
Correct.
Exterminate.
Exterminate. I loved it.
Exterminate.
What
When they-
number Doctor are they on now? Because I said there's going to be like
Like 13 or 14.
So
Or they passed that one.
there's discrepancies with 14, I think.
Well,
Which- 14?
the
well, because
question.
Disney picked it up. Now they're going to do more than 13 Doctors.
Well, no, they already destroyed the it was 12 Doctors. They were never supposed to have more than. And they destroyed that a while ago, like with actually some fairly decent storylining, and they explained why. But it turns out that there was never intended to be a limit, because you find out during Jodie's run, spoilers, but this has been like 3 or 4 years ago that they started doing this shit.
Don't
The
worry, I'm
timeless-
not gonna go back and watch it.
Okay, so when they had the female Doctor, you found out that she's not even a Gallifreyan, that no one knows her, the Master's parentage, and they have unlimited regenerations and all kinds of other powers that were literally locked down by the Time Lords. So the whole time that they were raised to believe that they were Time Lords, they were never Time Lords. Gallifreyans can't even regenerate as a species. Only the Time Lords can, because they stole powers from the parentage, like from this lineage of people, basically. And so it's this really weird thing that is interesting, but most fans aren't a huge fan of the whole Timeless Child thing. That's where they really kind of fucked up a lot of the lore. But before that, they had discovered when Matt Smith was about to regenerate, which they thought that would be the last Doctor. This giant, another war happened basically, and some shit went down, and he found it within himself, and they discovered all these legends and all these devices, and he was able to burst through to get another 12 regenerations, like regenerate his whole life cycle.
So
Which that was more believable.
Doctor Who's got 15 with the one that they have now.
Yeah, yeah.
But there is a kind of argument: is he number 15 or is he number 14? Because number
Tennant came back.
10 is number 14.
Yep. But
Which-
he's 14 because that Doctor had already existed before, and it was only a temporary revert before the bigeneration. So technically, he is still the 10th Doctor. and an emergency
Right.
situation was created in the specials, which actually makes a lot of sense how they explain it in the specials they just did recently. But he's still Dr. 10, and Shooty is 14. And that's
Okay.
only War Doctor. Other than that, we'd be one behind of all these numbers, which was a whole other argument, like like a decade, more than a decade ago.
It's going to take me a
But
little
that
while
was-
to learn how to pronounce it. The new doctor's name.
I remember
Uh,
Shooty. Shooty is definitely the right thing. I looked up the pronunciation because I wanted to get it right, and I'm pretty sure the last one is Gatwa.
Oh,
I'm
it's-
American, so I'm going to pronounce it terribly.
It's really simple. It's Doctor Who.
But like his style is interesting because it reminds me of a combination. I can see Tennant in him. I can see some like Eccleston, but I also see some Captain Jack, like in his personality. Like, so he's this really cool mix of like some of the best doctors we've had. Like with this whole thing is nice, man. And him looking at Tennant, like they had this whole thing, which is too recent, so I'm not going to ruin it to you because some of this stuff's only been out for like a month or so for people at home, especially.
So basically,
like-
every doctor, every iteration of Doctor Who is a retrocon trying to explain why everything is the way it is.
No. That's only happened a couple times. Like, so you had all your original shows before it got canceled, and then the New Who, which started in 2005 to now, because now we're in New Who, which starts doesn't start anything over, but it's like a different, like, it's a whole different.
Did
Who.
Horton hear this one too?
Not this one yet.
Does he drink Yoo-Hoo?
Oh.
I
New
do.
Yoo-Hoo, drink Yoo-Hoo?
But I'm a huge. I know Jenny
is
loves
his
the
search
Doctor,
engine
obviously.
Yahoo?
Yahoo?
Yes, his search engine is Yahoo.
Yahoo serious.
Why so serious, Yahoo?
But no, I know Jenny loves the Doctor, and I love the Doctor. That's something that we bond over for sure. But like, I'm really excited because this is the first time since Eccleston and Tennant that I immediately liked the new Doctor. Like the first like appearance, like I immediately just was like, okay, I'm gonna like this one.
You know why I like?
Turtles.
I do like turtles. I do.
I like turtles.
But that's not what I was going to get. Are you two turtle for a turtle club?
Well, Jenny.
I think she was
Jenny.
frozen. She was frozen there for a minute. I think before she poofed.
Jenny, come back.
Jenny.
Anyway,
Because I wanted her opinion on the new Doctor also.
yeah. You know what I like? I like Ponderosa.
I like Goyles.
Guess where I'm going? I'm
Uncle
going.
Nutsy's Clubhouse.
No, I'm going to Ponderosa.
Hey, kids.
I've already got it set and everything. Such a happy camper,
Ponderosa.
dude. They
Yeah,
do exist.
He found one. It's in Columbus.
I found one. I'm
Well, gee,
going.
I'm in Columbus. That's weird. Oh,
I don't know. Are you on my way to it?
I don't know. Let's find out.
You might have to jump up in the creeper van.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No, I just bought a creeper van.
Yeah, I know you said you were going to do it for like haunt stuff
We'll haunt stuff and toting people and things around.
to go to Ponderosa.
Man.
Yeah, and to go to Ponderosa.
Hey, can we borrow your creeper van for my seminar down in Missouri next month?
You might get pulled over in it.
Thanks.
Would you like to know why?
Because it's a creeper van.
Because the BMV screwed up and said it was white, not tan.
Oh,
I told him I was going to get a wrap on it, and I wanted to get a wrap. I said, "What is the true process of getting a wrap put on it and changing the color?" Oh, well, what color is the wrap going to be? It's going to be white. And they said, "Oh, okay. The van is white." I said, "What happens if the van don't turn white?" She goes, "Then you got to come in here and do this process." I was like, "So why didn't you just let me put it as tan and we'll go through there?" And she looked at me and she goes, "I trust that you will get it done." I'm like, "Well, hi, Jenny. Welcome to the show."
so glad you could join us.
Yeah, starting to worry about you. We were having a great conversation
gonna
about
make it.
Ponderosa.
So back to Doctor Who because I really want to know your opinions on the new Doctor, Jenny.
Yes, back to the doctor.
My opinions about which part? Sorry, I
The new
got invaded
the new
by
doctor.
cookies. I
The new
don't have
doctor.
opinion.
Do you like the new
I don't
doctor?
have
Are
an
there things that you
opinion
like or
yet.
dislike? See, that's how I am with most
I
of the doctors. Like, it takes me like at least like this when they regenerate, and then like a whole season to like feel them out. I just kind of vibe about this one.
the energy, the love, he seems to really want to be there so far.
The outfit is pretty smooth.
The outfit is awesome. It seems like this is a thing that he has wanted to do for a while and just join us and be part of us. And I hope the fan base as well as he finds a good place. I will give you a full opinion after the season's over, if that's okay.
Of course, of course.
So far, I love the energy and the smile. That is
Oh,
like
yeah.
the best.
And rumor is that they brought Captain Jack back for Jodie's run, and there was a lot of rumors going around. Not even John Barrowman not wanting to comment, which it's hard for him to not reveal things. He's that kind of guy. He's awesome. That we may actually see him come back again and meet up with this doctor.
That would be awesome.
Is there a Doctor Who the Broadway musical yet?
There's a Broadway musical for most things, so I'm certain that someone at some level has created that.
I haven't seen one, but you know, just putting the idea out there. I'm pretty sure somebody would pick it up and
It'll happen at some point.
There are musical episodes. It looks like there are a couple like small college productions of one that was made, but like nothing official.
Well,
I mean,
don't
they have
worry. There's
Potter the musical.
Nothing even on YouTube.
there's a song by the
Yeah.
Time Lords.
Yeah.
It was number 1 on a chart over in the UK, boy. And I'll tell you what, the lyrics are easy. Doctor Who, hey, Doctor Who, Doctor Who. I'll tell you what, that is really jazzy to get along with when you're on the side of the road waiting for the applicator to come. You just start Doctor Who in it.
Is that like Star Trekking across the universe on the Starship Enterprise and the Captain Kirk?
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Star Trekking across the universe, boldly going forward because we can't find reverse.
Who's your captain?
Captain Clark.
Captain Morgan.
Okay. So you don't have a favorite series. Gotcha.
So I will tell you, this is kind of funny. My sister is an X-ray technician, and they were sitting there, and this guy from the military hurt himself, so he got some X-rays done, and his name was Captain something Morgan. I think it was King James. It might have been Captain James Morgan. Anyway, so they kept on wondering why James Morgan sounded familiar. It wasn't that. It was Captain Morgan that sounded so familiar.
I don't know. Friday, you're asking if I prefer Kirk over Picard or any of the other captains from Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm asking if you had like a favorite series that you
we're
like
talking
more
Star
than
Trek.
others. And by telling me the captain, I can narrow it down.
Kirk. The T in Rasty Slasher stands for Tiberius.
I
I
feel like
I will say that I didn't actually start getting into Star Trek until the Next Generation with Picard first, but then of course that leads me back to going to watching the original series with James T. Kirk. But then of course when the movies come out, all of the movies up to a certain point were all James T. Kirk.
Mhm.
So I don't know. That's hard. Do you go with the OG because he's the OG, or do you go with one that you were introduced with because that's the first one that you were familiar with?
Right.
I go with whichever one made you most happy, and it doesn't matter whether you were introduced to it, it came later. In this sense, it's like your favorite doctor. It doesn't matter because you could have
Doctor
like
Who because I very rarely watched the
Hermit.
series, very limited episodes. I don't know very much of the lore about it whatsoever.
yeah, But you get the idea that some people liked Voyager better than Next Gen. Some people like Deep Space Nine because they stayed and dealt with their stuff.
Like,
yeah,
so-
Michelle loves Captain Janeway. That's her captain.
yeah.
Like straight up, like it's her captain. I like Kirk because of his lore. He's got some amazing fucking lore, man. Kirk
Well,
does.
you know, in that case, you,
They all
you
do,
could
but-
say Dr. Sam Beckett.
He was
Um,
cool.
Raz is going, what the fuck?
No, not at all. Sorry, somebody messaged me
like
about the hunt. I was like, what?
My favorite was Captain Kermit. As we can clearly see, Kermit was a captain.
Yes,
Sam Beckett was my favorite captain. And
that works.
Yeah,
do I have to explain that?
No.
No.
you don't have to if you don't want to. No.
If you
He
want to
feels
tell
like
us
he wants
about
to.
what you like most about them, that would be awesome. Explain the series. If they're here and they don't know, there's I would suggest they take more time to learn more
Okay.
because I enjoy everything.
Dr. Sam Beckett was the main character in the TV show Quantum Leap,
Mhm.
who was played by Scott Bakula,
Mhm.
who played Captain Archer
Is it an Enterprise?
in Enterprise.
Yeah, the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Because that's
But-
where my brain went. He liked.
That was a good series too. I really liked Enterprise.
I
quite a bit.
loved both.
But there's a theory, a fan theory, that says that every character Scott Bakula has played since Quantum Leap has just been another persona that Dr. Sam Beckett has leapt into.
That seems legit.
So Archer is just another person in his Quantum Leap journey.
I like that.
So
That's
That was
Dr.
one of
Sam
my favorite things. I just was waiting to see if anybody in the comments would get the idea.
These are a few
It's late. They're a little
Because
slow.
I also, dang it, what I'm aggravated about my brain is I can't remember his name. The one, the friend that would pop up and tell him what was going on and
Ow.
everything.
Ow.
Yeah,
Dean
Yeah.
Stockwell.
Dean Stockwell was also in
Rest in
Langoliers.
peace.
Don't ask me why I'm so obsessed with that book lately.
Fucking love Langoliers, dude.
Yeah, he was in Langoliers, and I
With
was
Valky.
like, yeah, I was so
Valky
happy about
Looks-
that because I don't get to see him in much of anything anymore.
He's
Oh, yeah.
dead.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, I
he's
know.
mostly now.
That's
So-
why you don't see him much anymore.
No, I mean, everything's become so niche in my household. Here lately, it's been so much Spider-Man. With my mother-in-law, it's shows about murders, different murder investigations, midsummer murders, or ghost shows. When my husband's home, it's video game things. So my life is that and Owlite and fake horror.
You know, speaking of Spider-Man, I just finally beat
Or-
Spider-Man 3, the game I started playing on a stream for Ally actually forever ago. It has perhaps the most beautiful and fucking amazing storyline, this game, of any Spider-Man game ever made, and most of the movies, and a good chunk of the comics. Like, it's got insane fucking vibes. The way they handle Venom, the way they handle so many different things in this, because there's a new arc to it. They combine a lot of old, you know, how did Venom become Venom type stuff with it, like from different eras and different stories of Venom, but they still put a lot of their original spin where, you know, with the whole setup. And I came away out of that game like just floored. I just didn't even speak to anyone for like half an hour afterwards. I was just been thinking about it, and I still cannot stop thinking about this game. And I beat it like almost a week ago. Or, no, about a week ago.
Okay, I have a question then. This is for all three of you if you want to answer. This comes from the Gray Matter blogs on TikTok. If you don't follow him, I would suggest to do so. He also has a second channel called Will It Zombie, in which he tests certain things to see whether or not they would actually survive within the zombie apocalypse. But on Gray Matter blogs, he posts a lot of hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And he posted one recently. He'll start with a hypothetical question and then he'll get the caveats at the end. The hypothetical question is, if you could be thrown as a hero into either DC or Marvel Universe, which would it be and why? What time period would you choose within that universe? And the caveat is that when you're thrown into this universe, you're going to have the powers of a knockoff of one of the heroes that's already within that universe. You will have basically all of the same powers, but just in a slightly different way. So, like, you know how if you choose Wolverine, then you would have Wolverine-like powers, like Sabretooth does, but there's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
slightly differently.
But you're not
So,
Wolverine, right?
you know, you choose Spider-Man, then you would have a Spider-Man type powers. It would just be done slightly differently, like Spider-Woman. What was her name?
Madam
Jessica.
Web, or
Well, there
there's
was a couple
several
different
Spider
ones.
Women. Like honestly,
Yeah,
Gwen, Spider Gwen now.
yeah.
The thing is, like,
I was
you gotta
thinking
be
the
easy to do a
original
Spider Man.
Jessica. What's her name? Jessica something. I can't
Jessica.
remember her last name. Jessica
I'll
Drew.
put the link in
Oh,
the
okay.
comments.
So I'd listened to this and I was thinking about it. The period that I know most in comics history was the late 80s, early 90s, around the time of the first and second Secret Wars.
Okay.
I was big into Spider-Man and X-Men and all of that at the time. So that is the history that I know the most. So I picked that would be the time period that I would jump into in the Marvel universe. And the character that I chose was Hyperion, because Hyperion was the Marvel knockoff of Superman. He basically has a lot of Superman's similar powers. And basically, I'd just be a knockoff of Hyperion. So I put it out to you. You guys are in the comics and all of that stuff. Which would you choose? Marvel or DC? What time period and what knockoff character would you be?
I mean, it's easy for me. I'm gonna have to easily say Marvel at this point because, like you, that's my favorite era of Marvel comics. Later '80s into early '90s, because that's also the McFarlane Spider-Man era with Amazing Spider-Man, and that's
Mhm.
between that and X-Men and that era of time were my favorite things from Marvel. But I'd have to go villain. No, actually, no. I'll go anti-hero at least. I'd go Venom. I would be a version of Venom, and since then there's been so many different symbiotes where it would make sense to have the power of a symbiote but different. But yeah, I would go anti-hero and I would go a Venom knockoff.
Okay.
I would say Carnage, but I don't want to go too dark on everything.
Yeah.
He's my favorite character probably in the Marvel universe.
All right, Janie, what about you?
Gwenpool?
Gwenpool?
Gwenpool.
So modern.
Yeah, that's very modern, where she's basically Gwen Stacy, but she's read all the
Deadpool.
comics, she knows all about it, and she's thrown into one of the Marvel universes, and she just decides to become part of them. She gets a suit made, and she just basically fights along with them the best she can, and randomly throws out nuggets of information that they didn't expect some person they've never seen before know about them, and so forth. That would be one of the fun things to do.
She is a newer rendition of Lady Deadpool from back in the day,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. What about you, Pal?
I'm once again going to go with Marvel just because I like the world of Marvel, which is set around our world, versus DC has something that's like our world, but none of the cities are the same. And, I always thought it was funny that Metropolis is right across the street or right across the river from Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of torn because I would love to be something like Deadpool, or I would love to be something like the Juggernaut. I mean, the Juggernaut. I love him.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love the idea of any small movement. If he can get any type of small movement, he can make everything go. And him actually having the giant dome on his head is to protect him from Doctor or Professor Xavier,
Mhm. His
because
brother.
that's pretty much the only person that would be
stepbrother.
able to stop him.
Well, I mean, the cool thing about him is like when he
Scary
discovered the
Tanner would be if he had Juggernaut type powers.
What's
that
that?
would be if Chainer had Juggernaut powers. He said.
Oh my gosh!
How much
The thing-
scarier Chainer would be?
Does anyone remember how small Juggernaut actually is without the artifacts? Because people tend to forget that he's not very big without those artifacts.
No, he's
You got to
He's
have the gauntlets
actually-
for the helmet.
right. He is.
So when they made
what
the
is
X-Men
he
movie,
like?
the last Marvel, actual X-Men. I'm sorry, the last Fox X-Men movie that had Juggernaut in it. Then why the fuck does he take off his helmet and stay the same size? Like, if
I
he-
don't know. I don't know, but I'll tell you now. Without all that stuff, wasn't he like just barely 5 feet?
No, he was like normal person. He was scrawny, but he was like normal person size.
Well, it's kind of like
was taller than
Logan.
Wolverine.
Wolverine, in the comics, Wolverine is supposed to be like 5'7". He's not very tall at all. And then
Right.
Rogue, who was played by Anna Paquin in the original X-Men movie, she's supposed to be like 5'11" in the comics, but when you see them on screen, because Hugh
Right.
Jackman was much taller than Anna Paquin was,
Mhm.
so it's kind of this, I get it, from the he's supposed to be the experienced and she's just a kid, so I mean they
Right.
can pull it off that way, but in reality, she was much taller than he was.
So 5'3" is how tall Wolverine is actually in the comics.
Okay.
But that was the thing about him and why he was so fucking terrifying, because he was fucking short as shit, but he was huge. Like, he was wide, he was built, but he was like this tiny guy, which is why Beast threw him all the time.
They needed to
Well,
rename.
and,
him.
Sabretooth was technically his brother. What was his name? James? Something like
that depends on the storyline. And you're getting into the
Right.
Wolverine spin-off storyline version where they went back and gave him kind of a different history. And then there was the Immortals run which they used in the first Wolverine movie, where they were both actually immortals and were related from the beginning. So there's different versions of Wolverine's backstory.
Yeah, I think I stopped reading somewhere around a time where Logan started realizing that the adamantium in his bones was starting to poison him, like slowly over time, and it was taking him longer to start healing. And then, like,
That was one run, yeah.
Magneto ripped out all of the adamantium from his body, and as soon as he did, Wolverine just like popped up and was perfectly fine, just instantly healed.
Yep, that was one of the runs they did as to why they removed the metal. Another one was just Magneto fought him and sucked the metal out. Then he just had the bone claws for a while. And then there was the one where all of them were murdered, and Magneto sucked it out and put something back in him, which poisoned him and then actually killed him. And then they did that whole big cover with all the X-Men's graves, and it was like the new X-Men. And
I want to see
So-
the X. I want to see the movie with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hell
It's the-
yeah.
only Marvel movie coming out next year
Yeah.
or this year.
So, which timeline was the whole Logan movie based on the story? Because he was doing the adamantium poisoning in that movie.
So they've talked about this already a little bit because they don't want to give away a bunch of details. Logan will have happened still leading up to this. He's going to go back to a different timeline to pull him out of, basically, but similar into the Logan timeline, like somewhere before Logan actually dies, because they're bringing another one of the actresses that played basically the female version of Wolverine in Logan. She's also playing her same character from the Logan X-Men universe. Like they're
Wasn't-
getting people from different spaces in time.
Wasn't it his daughter?
That was where it was kind of leading at
Okay.
with New Mutants, because she's
Right.
she's in New Mutants, but like I think I get them both. I get Logan and parts of New Mutants kind of like combines together in my head sometimes.
The New Mutants movie was not even remotely based on the comic, though. So it was like almost completely different.
I wanted to like it a lot because of how long it took to make and everything they got put into it. When Disney got it, completely redoing it and trying to make it almost like a horror film, but it kind of failed as a horror film. It failed as a superhero movie. It kind of failed as an action movie.
I don't think they really knew what to do with it, so it sort of just kind of flopped on all fronts.
They should have just dropped it because everything Fox touched superhero wise, they drastically fucked. I don't think there was a single. Honestly, maybe X-Men 2 and Logan, honestly. But other than that, like there was not a lot. Oh, Days of Future Past. But other than that, like almost all their movies were just bad. And then they still released Dark Phoenix in the shape it was in, and it was bad. It was so bad.
I'm kind of wondering what the next phase for Marvel movies is, since they already finished the, with
Secret Wars.
And you
It's
think they're going to do Secret Wars?
It's already, dude. We've known that for over a year. It's been notated. Like they've been talking about it like openly. We already know that the last movie in the series is going to be called Avengers: Secret Wars already, and that's why they've been building up all the other dimensions and the variants. And the theory behind this is
going to bring in the Beyonder as it happened in the comics, or are they going to completely revamp that? And it's not going to be the Beyonder at all. It's going to be some other weird.
Well, we already know, like, Kang was the main guy they were pumping up to be behind all of this.
Okay.
Because the way they treated him in Loki, season 1 and 2, and in Ant-Man Quantumania, but the actor Jonathan Majors got into a lot of trouble, and they fired him recently. They let him go from playing Kang. So they're already supposedly looking at replacements for Kang, but there's other villains that they're going to be able to bring in potentially to move this along. And one of the big rumors is, since they've moved Fantastic Four way up the slate along with X-Men, that we might actually get Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom and Doctor Sinister are two of the ones that I'm seeing a lot of rumors about them being involved.
Well, Doctor Doom was like the primary villain in the Secret Wars. He was the one that actually understood what the fuck was going on the whole time.
Right. Exactly. So the big rumor is now is they're gonna kind of cut the whole, dimension hopping, otherworld shit out. And again, this is all just rumors and speculation, but it's what makes the most sense. And they're gonna use basically do a soft set on the Marvel Universe with Secret War. Because if you think about it, they went kind of nuts with the amount of shit that they were putting out, and the quality suffered for a while because of strikes, and not even the writers' strike or the actors' strike. It was all kinds of stuff involving their digital effects departments. Like, it was bad. It was bad. People got fired that were heads of departments in Marvel and Disney over this shit. And Iger's wanting to, like, less is more, so they're going to do the Marvel Spotlight now. Well, they'll still be, like, eventually putting out a lot of Marvel Spotlight content, but it's shit that you can watch on its own without having to watch 50,000 things to understand it and like it. So that's their new approach. So in theory, they'll use Secret Wars to say whatever versions of these heroes, the ones that survive Secret Wars, these will be these characters going forward in this new world. And that's where they'll kind of do a soft reboot. That's what it seems like they're angling towards anyway.
I know that one of the versions of the X-Men cartoon that they had back, and I guess it was the revamp or the new X-Men cartoon that they did in the early 2000s, or maybe they did it in the 90s.
Are you talking Wolverine and the X-Men?
No,
that's one of the last ones they did.
They actually did the Secret Wars in one of the X-Men cartoons. I believe it was a new one, or maybe that was the Phoenix Saga that I'm thinking about. I'd have to go back and watch. But I know that they did the Secret Wars in one of the X-Men cartoons. But in that one, they actually did use the Beyonder as the one that brought everybody to the planet that the Beyonder created, specifically for them to fight. So I wonder if they're going to pay any homage to that or use it for source material or what.
I mean, it's possible. I know back the old original X-Men cartoon, dun, 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 they touched on it a little.
Song that everybody freaking loved.
Yeah, so they touched on a little bit, but they did a weird version of it with the superhero or the supervillain Mojo, where it was like a Secret War thing where they had to fight each other to the death, but he turned it into a game show. So they were hinting at it. Then they went with Mojo, and then there was a mention of the Beyonder at some point, like way later, and then the show didn't continue. But now they're releasing X-Men 97 supposedly sometime this year with most of the original voice actors, and it's a continuation of the old cartoon. And that was the best X-Men thing we've ever had. Like, straight up, that cartoon, it was better than a number of the comics. It was better than all the movies and any other cartoon after it about the X-Men. Like, it's the quintessential X-Men.
They tried to be more true to the comics themselves.
Well, they did, but they also invented a lot of content too that didn't exist in the comics.
Honestly, I liked how they did Gambit in that TV show.
Well, we've only had one like live action version of Gambit for a small amount of time, and they fucked it up.
And I was seriously, I liked how Gambit was in there. And
Yeah,
it
I don't
showed,
think too many people are going to remember the very short amount of time that Gambit had on screen. So if they wanted to bring his character back, they could definitely, make it better.
I mean, look what they did with Deadpool.
Gambit would
flat
be
out
worthy
looked
of
at
having
him
his
and
own
said,
movie, honestly.
no, we can
Well,
fix this.
We
And
had Gambit.
Deadpool went back and fixed himself.
We had more Gambit than people realized. There were Gambit mentions starting with the first X-Men live-action movie because his name was in the files of the mutants, Remy LeBeau, and they were dropping all these little hints. And then,
Right.
super famous actor, he did. Oh my god, I have to look it up. Who's going to play Gambit? 1 second.
But yeah, I mean,
I can't remember his name.
just
Channing
the way
Tatum.
that- okay.
Channing Tatum was gonna actually officially play Gambit. Like, it was a big fucking deal. Like, they did photo shoots with him, screen test footage. He was going to be Gambit. Did interviews, like everything, and then it fell through. And everybody's always wanted the Channing Tatum Gambit movie. And there have
Right.
been rumors that we may see his version of Gambit at some point in time because they were kind of doing different versions of different characters and everything. Just like there's still rumors. There was rumors about the Tom Cruise Iron Man and Doctor Strange that didn't happen. Because of that, there are even bigger rumors now that we might actually see it for Secret Wars. Again, I don't know, but supposedly we're also going to see Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. at some point as well. Who knows?
Right. And
No idea.
that's where the I think that's where Ant-Man's whole thing was. I need to open up this entire thing. That way we can use this to be able to grab from here, grab from there, grab from there. And Loki was trying to explain some of the things that was dealing with that.
I mean, the reality is they did some pretty big runs with the Avengers before they should have because they didn't have all the rights to everything they needed. Like, how do we do Civil War but not Mutants Registration right along with it? Like, there's so many things that should have happened in the timeline that they built. So what makes me okay is I enjoy the movies on their own without attaching them to what I love about the comic, the comics they're from, because, they literally created a new Earth, basically. Think about it like that. This is a different version of Earth that's specifically only in the MCU. So I had a problem doing that with the Fox movies because there was no kind of explanation that kind of smoothed it out where they were kind of like, oh, this is our own thing. No, this is directly adapted from the comics, which is why I think I disliked it so much.
I mean, and the thing is, Marvel has not went through and redone the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over. Yeah, we had a Fantastic Four, and we had a Fantastic Four being represented in a different way. And then another Fantastic Four was brought in when they were doing the Doctor Strange, the last one they did.
Yep.
But
Well, that was a reboot of the franchise, but yeah, it was more based on the Ultimate, I think.
Pyle, you say that, but then the Captain America movies exist.
New World Order looks good. Captain America New World Order that's coming out, that looks really good.
But I will also say that they have not rebooted over and over and over again nearly as much as I Am Batman.
This is true.
I mean,
What do you
it
have,
seems
11
like
actors that play Batman at this point?
it's like every century you get a new Batman. But the ironic thing is, the most iconic Joker voice that we all know and love
Mark Hamill.
Still Mark Hamill.
is Mark Hamill.
Kevin
And
Conroy
Mark
is
Ham-
Batman, man. Honestly.
Right. And the
Michael
thing
Keaton
is,
and Kevin Conroy.
Mark Hamill made a comment. He's like, you're coming up to me for the Joker again. And they're like, yeah. And he goes, is he playing Batman? Yes, he is. Okay, you got me aboard.
Yep.
And that's and the way that they have portrayed the Joker in so many different ways is beginning to be a artistic way in some aspects.
Can we
some hairbane.
Can we shut down on the east side of Dayton drug dealer Joker though? Because I swear to God, I bought weed off a guy that looks exactly like that before.
Jack Napier, that was not actually the Joker.
Like, he is one of two of the versions of Joker that I've really disconnected with, honestly.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I did not like that Joker, and I love him. But oh my god, I lost his name too. It died on me. The original '89 Batman movie. Yeah, it wasn't the original technically,
Nick,
but
Nicholas.
yeah, Nicholson, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
I
Yeah.
love him as an actor.
Yeah.
I've never liked him as Joker, not even a little bit.
And that's the thing, you know.
He got the Prince of Crime part down beautifully, but not the clown part.
It was Tim
Was it-
Burton. He always does things a little differently.
And it didn't help that he'd never
Right.
read a Batman comic before he made that movie. At least that's what I've heard people mention. I could be wrong about
And
that.
he
but-
was working on that the same time that they were doing Nightmare Before Christmas. That's why he was never on set working on the Nightmare Before Christmas, because he was doing the Batman.
Of course, Jack Nicholson did get the line, "This town needs an enema," and it's still one of the greatest lines ever.
Yeah. I know this is probably unpopular, but I think our current Batman, I'm bummed that he's not part of the actual DCEU. Pattinson, he is actually, I think, one of my favorite Batman. He's my second favorite Batman now. Live action Batman. Yep, second favorite live action.
People really thought, Pattinson can't do it. There's no way he can pull it off. He doesn't look the part. He doesn't sound the part, and they're still equating him to Edward Cullen.
Bullshit.
And then
You're right, they are, but I think that's bullshit.
And then
I will bring.
the Batman comes out, and he turns in this fucking great performance, and people are like, "Holy shit!"
Well, you know what? I think it was really ironic that with all the Batmans that they were doing and this and that, Adam West, his Joker, he with all the paint, he actually had his mustache and he would not get rid of his mustache. He kept that caked on so well that you didn't see his mustache. He refused to get rid of that mustache, would not shave it, this and that. And he had become that
Caesar-
really good
Caesar
that
Romero.
really good standard for one until Mark Hamill said, "This is the way I think that it should be. I see this picture and he's all teeth and this and that." And he did a great job with that Joker. And honestly, if you would ask me the question in the DC, who I would be the Joker. I've got Joker stuff in my bedroom. My wife's got Harley stuff. And I love the Joker. That is my main character in DC. And DC is the world I would love to see it burn. I didn't want to I did not want to see it I just wanted to see what the people would do. It is exactly the Joker I love so much.
Oh yeah, man.
The one that made toys, the one that did this, that came up with harebrained scams. It was all about the Batman. If there was not the Batman, there would not be the Joker. If there was not a Joker, there would not be a Batman.
So, how many movies, just general random number without looking it up, how many movies do you think Robert Pattinson has done? I'm curious. Anybody can shout out a number.
14?
Other than all of the Harry Potter movies,
He was not in all the Harry Potter movies. He was only in
I
one.
think he only from 3 until he died, right? So
He was only actually featured in,
Goblet of Fire.
only in Goblet of Fire.
So it's 1, 2, and then all.
There's
of the
5
movies.
Twilights he was in. Yeah,
I don't know how many Twilight movies there are.
5.
5, so 6, 7. I'm gonna go with 8 because I'm sure there's probably one I'm forgetting.
Okay, Pyle. How many movies do you think he's been in?
I was gonna go with 10, even the ones that we don't think of right off our bat.
You guys would be very surprised to know that he has been in 44 fucking movies with 3 scheduled. So when those are out, it'll be 47. This kid actually started acting before Harry Potter. Had done a lot before then, but he was decent. While he was doing Twilight, he was actually doing a fuck ton of indie films while doing the Twilight stuff. And his drama and his series, the suspense side of him is intense. And I don't think people saw that. Except for a movie I'm going to guess you guys didn't see because you didn't include it on your list. It's called The Lighthouse. It's him and Willem Dafoe. Watch that
Yeah, I've
movie.
heard of it, but no, I haven't seen it.
If you had seen that movie, which came out before the official announcement that he was Batman, before the Batman movie came out, you would have immediately known that he could pull it off. Just immediately. Everybody I know that questioned Pattinson and Batman after seeing The Lighthouse, either when it came out or right before they stole the Batman, immediately changed their tune. Like, okay, yeah, he can do this. I mean, I was after seeing that movie, I heard about him playing Batman. I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? And then them adding the actual detective part of him back into Batman was, oh my god. And Riddler basically Saul. That's what they kind of did with a Riddler, like a Saul thing. And that soundtrack for that movie was gorgeous. I'm a Nirvana fan, obviously, but like that soundtrack was gorgeous.
So can we do a podcast for a movie review of The Lighthouse since I haven't seen it?
That is not a B movie. That is a major motion picture.
Yeah, I'm aware, but
we can talk about it.
Terrible for B movies, but I don't.
Yeah, we can't do it on Tune, but like we could just you could watch it. And we can talk about it. It's really good, man.
And we're talking about the Lighthouse 1990 or 2019.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually in black and white.
It's really good, man. And also, he did another one called Tenet that was also really good. That was an action movie.
Mom, the lady I was telling you about last time we talked, she said you should watch it.
Who?
She should. Everybody. Mom, Martha, the lady I was telling you about last time we were talking, she said everybody should watch that movie.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I highly recommend it. It is so good.
Well, everybody should watch UHF too, but that's just my opinion.
Well, yeah. Fuck
I'm
yeah,
not
they should.
disagreeing with that either.
Oh my
I think
god.
the weirdest thing.
Go ahead,
The weirdest thing about what we've been talking about is Alan Tudyk as the Joker.
Alan Tudyk could be anything, and I'd be happy.
Yeah, in the Harley Quinn series, he's the Joker, but he's using Turbo's voice from Wreck-It Ralph.
If you don't know who
So I
Alan
was
Tudyk
like-
is, have you ever seen the movie Dodgeball?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pirate Steve.
Dodgeball or
He's a very
Firefly?
famous actor, actually.
Firefly is like my favorite thing he's
Wash.
done.
Yep. Resident Alien. I'm actually in love with that TV show. Him
Oh, that was
is that
beautiful.
character. Like for me, with like the borderline autism and the BDP, like watching that show and like watching him figuring out what it is to be a human. I don't know why. I was in a pretty bad place when season 1 came out, and I watched it, and it kind of like helped me reset my brain a little bit and go, oh. I get to watch this movie about a guy that, even though he's an alien, he's kind of like me in the way he's approaching his life and the logic and everything behind this. It's actually pretty fucking cool, man. But he's an amazing actor. Also, oh my God, Versus the Evil. What's that? Tucker and Dale versus the Evil. He's in that as well.
Oh, that's a great movie, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
And it's him and Sock from Reaper.
That's
Reaper was good too. That was what's his name? Ray Wise played the devil.
Yep. Tyler Labine was the best friend, aka Sock.
He worked at like a Walmart store or something like that.
Yeah.
What was it? S-Mart or something? No.
You got that?
That's Evil Dead. I forgot.
Back
Whatever.
to superheroes. Let's talk about my favorite superhero, Jenny.
Okay.
Jenny?
Jenny is your
Okay,
favorite
Jenny's question is, did Ron ever actually take a look at his name?
It's Tilson Brown.
I didn't either until just now. That's awesome.
Trevor from Fuglump. That's my band name, Fuglump. All right. Woo!
Yeah, you know,
You drum
Brad
off stage.
gave you, and then my kid sent me a rhino. So I'm like, Super Mom, let's show everybody this awesome thing.
I was trying to figure out what that was. I thought maybe that was your Heffalump right back there.
Oh, she
It's
drew
a
me a
rhino lump.
Pokemon.
Is
That
that looks like a
Pokemon.
that looks like a new cryptid. Have you seen this?
No, you need to have that made into a plushie.
Mhm.
Who's gonna do it for me?
There's companies that you take pictures of your dog.
Dude, my printing guy, he just did all of them for was it the Detroit Comic Con? He did their or one of the Detroit comic shows, one of the big ones. They sent him these pictures, and he created a plushie out of them from his company and like shipped them all out to him. Like,
Yeah, if
They
you
bought
get that
thousands
made
of them
into a
from him.
plushie, put it up on the Owlite merch store.
oh, I could get our Alice's plushies easy. We just have to pay for them.
I'm okay paying for one. I just need to know how much.
Oh, you can't get a
this
printer to do
time.
one. That you have to do a certain amount with printers in order for them to actually do it. Usually, I mean, you can go to
Okay,
custom
I know.
places.
A little polka dotted rhino back there made into a plushie and put it up on our merch store.
The rare Fridays.
It'd be awesome. You
Her
can
name
get
is
individual ones
Veronica?
made. They're just expensive to get just one made. That's why you usually buy them in batches.
You can only buy this on Friday.
All right. So your favorite superhero, Raz? What were you going to say? You said talk about superheroes.
It was
You
Jenny.
just
Jenny's
back your
my
mouth.
pick.
Jenny's your favorite superhero.
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
segue to get Jenny to talk to us some more.
Yeah, he just decided I should say things, so I decided to tell y'all about a rhino, and that there are weird things in my backyard that like those trap spiders.
The-
What are
the-
y'all?
What would Jenny's superhero name be though? Like, the librarian or the reader or
Ooh, what would my superhero name be?
Isn't
What do
there
you
a
think?
superhero called the Reader or something?
I mean, it would surprise me.
I have no idea.
It's
I mean, you
Galfire.
have Polka Dot Man for Pete's sakes. What's he
her-
do?
her
Throw
power
polka
would
dots
be
at
to-
you?
to trap
Yeah,
people
actually,
with
he does.
I know. What's his superpower? He throws.
But those polka
at
dots
you.
are really fucked up, though. What they do to you is really fucked up.
Right.
Lick the furry walls.
So, did anybody else watch the Linda Carter Wonder Woman?
Of course, of course.
Oh, hell, they
Dude,
still they
yes.
were showing it on MeTV.
My husband decided, you know what? Just have this, so you have it now. So when we lose TV again, you're not sad. That was awesome.
I cycle like
All
that
right.
too, where I just streaming services get expensive, or just I've seen everything on them, so I just won't have them for a little while sometimes. Or I cycle from one to a different one to watch all the different shit that one didn't have.
That's because you people don't sleep, man. Jeez.
I wish.
All right.
I could.
Since we're going to ask this question of what superheroes and this and that, has anybody watched the movie Superhero Movie?
Yeah,
It's one of the
Yeah,
knockoffs of
not
Scary
another
Movie.
superhero movie is what it's called.
Not another. I think
No,
that's
that's not
another
another teen movie. This is just
No,
superhero.
there
movie.
is. Okay, there's one actually called. It's part of the Not Another series. That one and Not Another action movie, which also includes superheroes.
Oh, okay. Well, this one is just superheroes.
Yeah.
Anyway, the darndest thing is just looking at it, reminding me of this whole cast of people that they had and this and that. These would be the saddest knockoffs of your superheroes. I mean, you got.
It's a funny movie, dude. I enjoyed it.
Oh, it is. It is a funny movie. You know, you have like a knockoff Wolverine, a knockoff Storm, Professor X, Dragonfly, and the guy that's a knockoff Torch is making some marshmallow s'mores.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know that's just one of those things that if you're going to go and find a different level of superheroes, that would be a movie that would make you chuckle and go, you know what? This is exactly how my life would be as a superhero.
Oh, for me, it would definitely be The Tick.
Oh yeah, the
Which-
Tick.
Mind you, The Tick is
Oh,
my
yeah.
actual. He's my actual favorite superhero of all time. The Tick is. But like living in the city, like if I had to pick a universe, like that'd be a really wacky, fucked up place to live. Although I kind of feel like that's my life now, anyway.
Which
So I just
version
wanna-
of Tick? Would you do the animated version, the
Animated.
very first live action version that they came out with, or the new version that Amazon came up with?
As much as I enjoyed both the live actions, especially with Patrick Warburton, who's one of my personal heroes,
He
it's
is
got to
like
be
Tick.
the animated series for me, man. Like 100%
yeah.
the animated series, because the amount of detail, the blue Sega game cartridge they put out that had 99 levels. It was the answer to the Maximum Carnage video game. But like everything they did with that universe, dude, was just so spot on with what was in comics, just obviously trolling the fuck out of it, and it's beautiful. And one day I want to actually make a cosplay costume of the Tick, and I'm going to stand up in the tallest city that I can legally get onto, and I'm just going to look out and go, "The city, my city. Your toast shall never go unbuttered again."
Yes.
Spoon.
How am I was going to say, how am I like,
It's not working. It just decided to stop.
Oh, hi, Ron.
I was like,
Whoa.
it's like, Why am I the only one here? I can hear voices.
I think
I don't see people.
Now.
Hello,
Well, my browser
voices.
sometimes says I can't click things,
I think I'm a clone.
and I've
now.
just decided, you know what?
Did you say alone or a clone?
I said alone. He said a clone. He went with the Weird Al version.
Is it?
But you mentioned UHF, and like when the documentary, the mockumentary, really about Weird Al came out, my wife and I are like, okay, we have the night to ourselves. We're gonna watch UHF first, and then
There you go. That's a better
Watch that.
picture. Look how horrible my looking at my screen was.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It looks like Leslie Nielsen in the background.
That was.
Dude,
there was Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
But so we watch UHF first. I've seen it a million times. This is like a multiple times a year rewatch for me with UHF. And then we
Yeah.
watched the new one, and I realized, man, Daniel Radcliffe was not actually playing Weird Al. He was Weird Al playing the UHF version of Weird Al. Like his mannerisms.
was-
I actually watched the physical comedy and his movements and everything, and he literally copied every ounce of the UHF version of him. Like it was mind blowing the way he did it, the whole thing.
He
That
was
was his
so
goal,
good
though.
in that.
I know.
movie. It's like holy shit, Daniel Radcliffe. Who fucking knew? It's like,
That's
wow.
another one like that's another one like Pattinson though, like legit. Like obviously he got Harry Potter stuck with it even more because he was Harry Potter.
Yeah,
But he literally went from that to doing nudity in Broadway plays, like famous
Yeah,
Broadway
he did
plays,
that.
to
That
all
was-
kinds of serious acting. And then he went like horror, the Woman in Black. Like he did some
That was
crazy
great.
shit.
that
and
was
he's
a
got-
great movie.
Have you seen the TV show he's got out right now?
I have not
Um,
heard about it, but I have
something
not-
miracles.
I think it's on HBO or something.
Yeah. Miracle Workers is the name of it. It's like Monty Python. Each season is a different story,
Aren't
but
they
it's
like
all the
ancient
same
or
actors and
something?
actresses. That's only season 1.
Okay.
Each season is a different theme with a lot of the same actors. Pretty much like Steve Buscemi's even in all of them.
okay.
But they did a Wild West one where they were heading out west with their wagon train and everything. Where oh my god, let me just say,
That-
he's somehow in drag underneath his priest clothes because he plays a priest in that one. Rips his clothes off and he sings a very sexualized version of "She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes."
Oh.
Watch the video of this on YouTube. You will die inside,
good.
like laughing so hard. Like it is so hilarious. I saw it, could not believe what I had seen. I paused it, rewound it, and had Michelle come in and was like, "You have to see that. You have to see that. Just come sit down." And she watches it, and her face is just like. And then
Have
we made
you
the kids
watched-
watch. Go ahead.
Have you watched what is it? Swiss Army Knife Man.
Swiss Army Man. Yeah, Dell and I have talked
Yeah.
about that a lot on the shows before. That movie was pretty fucked up. Like, and it's weird because the trailers all make it seem like this hilarious, like, like 2-hour long fart joke movie. But when you actually watch the movie,
Oh yeah.
holy shit, it's fucked up. Especially that ending. Oh my god.
Dude, my phone just freaked out and started doing some kind of weird fire alarm sound.
I was wondering where it was coming from. I thought it was here somewhere. I was like trying to figure it out. I was about to message the kids, be like, "What'd you set on fire upstairs?"
Oh, that would.
Did you get
suck.
an Amber Alert?
Somebody messing with my phone.
Not me. Should I?
It's all the Pornhub he's been watching. Come to play back.
Speaking
Was
of
that
movies
you
that we
messing
watch
with me over Messenger or something?
over and over and over again, am I pretty in pink?
I don't
That
know.
is a
Are
great
ya?
movie. That
I
is a
mean-
great movie.
I like your hair in pink, but
It looks good. Your hair looks fantastic. I like it.
Okay.
honestly, I've never seen him. Is that an actual show?
It's a
Am I
movie.
Pretty in Pink?
Pretty in Pink is a movie.
Pretty in Pink is a movie.
Yeah, it was Molly
I've
Ringwald.
never seen it. Never seen it.
I recommend anything Molly Ringwald.
Fun fact: the movie that I've seen the most amount of times in my life is a Molly Ringwald
13
movie.
Candles.
Yes. I have seen that movie over 150 times in my life.
Which one?
13 Candles. 16 Candles, sorry.
16
16 Candles.
16
Yep.
Candles. I don't
Don't know
where
why.
I got 13.
I got obsessed as like a young child, like, and it was like recorded off TV, like on a VHS tape, and I wore it out. And I've gone through so many copies of this. I even went through like 8 different DVDs after it came out on DVD of this thing. I don't even own it anymore. I've got a digital version of it now, but like couldn't tell you why. It's just one of those things.
Was that
and
your celebrity crush? Was Molly Ringwald your celebrity crush?
Oh, she was definitely one of them when I was young, but like I came from a very poor background, and there was a time or two when I was young where my birthday just slipped everybody's mind. Even as an adult, that's happened a few times. So I just identified with that movie and like what she was going through, like people just forgetting that it was her birthday completely, like her parents, everybody, and it just hit me hard. And to this day, like it's weirdly still one of my comfort movies, even as an adult. I get laughed at for that all the time. It's that and then Nightbreed.
I've never
Good
seen it.
movies.
They're both really good movies.
I saw 16 Candles in the theater when it first came out.
Nice.
I
Did
think,
you pull
Molly
him out by the
Ringwald came out
firefighter?
in the same year.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to look that up to be honest, to be sure.
I like Hughes
Well,
movies.
pretty-
I like all of his movies, to be honest with you.
Pretty in Pink is actually a movie that was made the same year I was born. So
What is your
What, Jenny?
what is y'all's most rewatched movies?
I mean, those are
Well,
mine. definitely.
movie.
Yeah, 16 Candles is the one I've seen the most.
You mean
Nightmare
aside
Before
from
Christmas.
UHF? Aside from UHF.
Okay. I was so happy they let us get digital copies of Nightmare Before Christmas because Sophia is trying to outdo her dad on Nightmare Before Christmas. She's ruined 2 DVDs. Don't ask me how many VHSs he has ruined and
Oh my
DVDs.
god.
I have ruined 3 VHSs, 2 DVDs, 2 Blu-rays, and so far the digital has not been destroyed.
Oh, that would be hard.
We're going to say it's been hard, but I'll tell you now, I bought it just in case they ever take it off of Disney.
Yeah,
What, Nightmare
That's
Before Christmas?
that'll never
Yeah.
go away.
I've seen it, but I mean, and I've seen it plenty of times, but I can't say that I've seen it more than any other movie.
Oh, I have.
UHF still holds that record.
UHF
in
is
fact-
definitely my top 5 of seeing the most. Actually,
In
no,
fact,
top
my daughter, for the longest time, all I heard was, "What's this? What's this? There's white things in the air," and it on repeat.
There's
And
white stuff in your hair.
The fuck? The fuck? Everywhere.
Exactly.
What the fuck is this?
oh my god,
All right,
Absolutely.
I'll tell you one of my other most watched movies of all time, and don't ask me why. It's kind of a nostalgia thing, but there's a movie that came out in the early '80s.
It's called Karate Kid.
No,
I'm just messing with you.
it's
everybody was kung fu fighting,
shut up.
including that guy that had no hair.
No, it's a movie starring Terrence Hill, and it's called Super Fuzz.
Oh,
Sounds really familiar. Look this up.
Do you have a permit for this one? Yeah, for this one. What do you mean for this one? Oh, I don't have a permit for the rest of them. And he brings them in there, and it's just like, oh my god.
I do remember that movie.
It's the same people that play Shaun of the Dead.
No, you're thinking
Which-
of Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, that's Hot Fuzz.
Oh, my bad.
This is a different movie.
It's from
Was he,
1980. It had Ernest
Probably about
Borgnine.
1981, 82, somewhere around there. And it stars Terrence Hill, who got popular doing spaghetti westerns with Bud Spencer. And
It-
he did My Name is Trinity. Trinity is Still My Name. Nobody. He did quite a few spaghetti westerns, which were all basically the same character. So Super Fuzz, he played a cop named Dave Speed that he gets caught in a nuclear blast at an evacuated Indian reservation, and the blast is this bright red color, and it gives him superpowers. And whenever he sees the color red, he temporarily loses his superpowers, but he doesn't know that that's what's causing it. So his powers keep coming and going. And I saw this movie so many times when I was a kid. Like I could quote it, and I still actually own a copy of it on DVD. I mean, you could probably find it online. It might be one of those movies you could put into It's Terrible now. And it had Ernest Borgnine before he passed.
That's the only reason I'm seeing it, because my dad was a big Ernest Borgnine fan, and he'd watched it when he had it recorded onto a cassette.
You know, now that I'm older and I watch it, I can see like how kind of like stupid and lowball it is, but I can't help it. I still laugh at it. I still enjoy the movie, but now it's more of a nostalgia thing. It takes me back to my childhood.
It's along the same vein for me as it's a comedy action series. They Call Me Bruce.
Yeah, I saw that.
They Call Me Bruce, and they still call me Bruce. That was I loved those when I was kids. He was Asian, so they assumed that he did martial arts,
and he doesn't.
Yeah, they're hilarious, man. I love those.
Ron, you just brought me up into a different world of my childhood. when you said that, you know, when he sees the color red, he loses his power. You just, as soon as you said that, I was like thinking, so he's like a Electabuzz or a Scyther, but instead of losing his power, or instead of getting pissed off and charging after it, he loses his power. Because in Pokemon, that's what happens to a Electabuzz and a Scyther. They can't stand the color of red. And Pikachu's favorite food of all time is discovered as being ketchup. And they both go after Pikachu because it's holding a bottle of ketchup the entire episode until the Scyther cuts right through it and the ketchup goes all over both of them Pokemon. But yeah, thanks for like no idea opening that.
You're talking about. I know jack shit about Pokemon. That was way the fuck after my time.
I know they're like STDs, and I'm supposed to catch them all. That's all I know about.
Is that what it is?
You got to throw your balls at them too.
I think I was like
STD, so you can catch them there, Raz.
I was like, I think like, I don't know, like 16 or 17 or something like that, I think, when that came out. And the only reason I watched like the first season of it is because the girl I was with at the time, it was one of those situations where you should have ended the relationship long before you did, and you're just looking for excuses to irritate each other kind of thing. And it came on one day and she said she hated it.
All right,
so I watched it.
Somebody look it up. When did Pokemon come out?
In the 90s. Like 92.
92, I was already in college.
No, it was 96, man.
Was it 96?
I was 14. Yeah, I was 14. It was yeah, I was 14. That's what, yeah.
I was a junior in college.
I think I'm the youngest person here still.
Yeah, probably. It's kind of like Power Rangers, you know. I didn't know jack shit about Power Rangers, you know, except that they did martial arts. I didn't really have any interest in watching the show other than the fact that I am a martial artist. But back in the early 90s, I used to work for a guy that owned a T-shirt shop, and he was an airbrush artist. We had this local amusement park called Tweetsie Railroad. If Mariah was here, she would probably know about it. But during the summers, I would go out with this guy that owned a T-shirt shop, and we would set up shop, and he would airbrush T-shirts all day, and I would sell the airbrush T-shirts and, you know, get paid on a percentage of however many T-shirts that we sold. So, of course, Power Rangers being the big thing at the time, all the kids wanted Power Rangers T-shirts. Right. So then he would paint these little simple Power Rangers designs on the T-shirts, and we'd sell them for like $10, $12. So all these kids are talking about Power Rangers, and I literally like know nothing about them. And I'm starting to thinking, I bet I could sell more T-shirts if I could actually carry on a conversation with these kids about what the hell the Power Rangers are. So I started watching the show. You know, keep in mind, I'm like 20 years old, and I started watching Power Rangers, and I'm like, you know, this isn't that bad. And that was the original Power Rangers with, you know, Jason and Tommy and Billy, and Kimberly and Trini and.
My son-in-law Matt, who sometimes is one of our co-hosts on some of our shows, Power Rangers is his whole like everything, dude. So I went back further than Power Rangers and remembered something from my childhood on Nickelodeon Special on Sundays, where they Americanized. It was a Japanese show. It was Dynaman, where they basically dubbed it and then added the 80s rock music into it. And I sat down and watched that with him, and kind of it was it goes back even further than Dynaman, that kind of style. Like I showed that to him, and like
Well, they had like
fucking loved it,
Ultraman
man.
and Spectraman as well. I think Spectraman was actually first.
Yep.
And I think they even remade Ultraman recently.
I do believe that. I think I heard something about that. Like
But
he
they're all
absolutely
same
loves this shit.
entertainment.
Yep.
Mhm.
But he absolutely loves Power Rangers, dude. So I started kind of watching it again, but I would make up my own lyrics to their songs because, oh my God, the songs are the worst in Power Rangers.
The theme
It's
song.
literally, honestly, you're just kind of describing loosely what's happening on and then just saying, go Power Rangers once in a while. So like I just started like redubbing all the songs while we were watching the episodes. Like we would just make up new songs, and our songs are like way better than the ones in the episodes. Just saying. They're funnier.
Have you guys ever heard of a movie that came out in 2015 called Mr. Right?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've
Did it have
seen it.
Ellen DeGeneres in it?
No, it had Anne.
Was that the one who creates the
Hathaway?
android to be the perfect man?
No. Sam Rockwell is the main person,
Okay.
So it's
and
not
then Anne. Oh, what is her name? Anne somebody.
Anna Kendrick
Yes.
from Twilight. Yeah.
Yes. Basically, she gets cheated on, and she is done with her man, and this and that, and she is going through the worst life, in the first couple of days, couple of weeks, and she was just trying to figure out what was going on, and she comes across this guy that all of a sudden just likes her and starts talking to her, and they go on a couple of dates, and the first date she goes on, people try killing him. Well, he's a ex-assassin, so he flat out tells him, "Hey, I'm kind of on a date. I kind of like this girl. Can we not do this tonight? This and that." And the guy's like, "No, I'm going to kill you." And he's like, "Okay, whatever." So he goes and he ends up killing this person, and right beside the dumpster. And he won't lie to this girl. So he comes back in and he goes, "Hey, I'm going to sit on this side with you, right beside you." And she's like, "Oh, so you're not across from me. You're right beside me." "Yeah, I kind of want to watch the door. I just killed a guy right beside the dumpster." And she's like, "Oh, you're a killer." Ooh. And she thinks it's a joke until he goes to talk to somebody about a contract. And his hitman thing is he actually wears a red nose every time he's going to kill somebody. It's a great movie. I was stunned at it. My wife liked it. I actually bought it, and I've watched it like probably about 7 times.
It sounds
It's
pretty
one of
decent.
those.
Sounds like something I'd be interested in.
It is. It's a really good, interesting movie. And the one guy that used to work with this guy flat out tells this giant hitman group that's going after this one guy, "Yeah, I thought you guys were professionals." Is like, "So you're not going to go in?" He's like, "Nah, y'all going to die. I'm just going to stay here in the van." And everybody dies going after this guy. And he's like, "Yeah, well, we all knew that was going to go wrong."
I realized what
It's
movie I thought you were talking about. It was a '96 Ellen DeGeneres movie called Mr. Wrong. I got shit in my head.
well, this is Mr. Right. I
Yeah.
don't know about Mr.
I
Wrong.
haven't seen Mr. Right.
It's
I was
based
told
on
many
Mr.
times. Yeah, I was going to say I've been told many times I'm Mr. Wrong.
I mean, hell, my name even spells wrong. RONG. Even when I'm right, I'm wrong.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
man,
no,
sorry.
Tom Dog, I haven't seen the Japanese versions of the Power Rangers. Have you guys?
Yeah. I've been
No.
talking about Dynaman. That's what I was talking about.
Okay, well,
I've seen Dynaman.
I've seen some
I've seen
Ultraman. a little
Dynaman.
bit.
I just can't stand if I can't understand the language.
5 teenagers from different walks of life. No, I mean
Yep.
that was American dub though.
Yeah.
Captain Planet.
Oh yeah, I if I would have found the English one, even though that they're like, you know,
Care Bear.
ooh,
Did
you just made me think of it, Captain Planet.
That's what Ron said. Ron said Captain Planet. That's why I was like, heart.
Oh, I didn't
Did
hear
anyone
Captain Planet.
know Williams?
Isn't that
What'd you
what
say?
Care Bears did too?
Hold on.
Like they formed like Voltron and like giant killer bear or something. I don't know.
No, they just stood there and stared at people, and then it made them do things.
They shot beams out of their stomachs or something.
That was
They
the Care Bear
did.
stare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Care Bear stare.
That's freaking creepy. I mean,
No, it's always been creepy.
you just don't think about those things when you're a kid.
I know, like Gummy Bears, the Gummy
Yeah.
Bears cartoon. I had to prove to my kids that existed because they did not fucking believe me. I sing the theme song. Did you just make that up? And I'm like, no. For once, I did not make this up. Look at
Dude,
this.
Gummy. That's actually an old Disney.
Bouncing
I
here
used
and
to
there and
watch-
everywhere.
I used to watch that along with Fraggle Rock.
I mean, they basically cooked drugs in their fucking basement in their hole. Like that was what gummy juice was. It was, you know. And then they drank it and they hopped around everywhere like fucking meth addicts. And it was a cartoon.
That would be a hell of a theory.
What were you asking about, Jenny?
Have you guys heard of Remo Williams?
Yeah, the adventure begins.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
No.
That would be
Another
the one
movie
I've
from my
seen like
childhood that
15
I watched
million
a lot.
times.
I remember watching the
You move like
everlasting
pregnant
story.
elephant. You move like pregnant rhinoceros.
A never-ending story.
Oh, never ending story. Yeah, I remember watching that and passing out, then trying to watch it again
Sorry.
and falling asleep again. Dude, every time I hear that song, I don't think of that song for that. I think of that for Stranger Things.
Well, yeah, but it's from that. That's the theme song
Yeah.
to the movie.
Right. I
Sometimes
totally
we'll be
know
out in
that.
public and just start singing it. We haven't done that in a bit.
It's like Dusty Bunny. I'm not
Dusty
saying
Buns.
it right now, Susie. Yeah, not saying it right now, Susie Poo.
I am looking forward as fuck to the final season. Like, I don't want it to be the final season, but knowing that they're doing spin-offs and some other stuff with it in the same universe is great.
Yeah, the
That keeps
final
me
season's
happy.
gonna
But
have to be like when they're all 5 years older and shit, because that's how much time has passed.
well, they filmed a good chunk of it already, and then the strikes and then release schedules and stuff. Like, it's pretty much just about ready to go, from my understanding. And then the Duffer Brothers are like, so they're doing different spin-offs in different areas, but still with the whole upside down stuff. And they're also going to be doing some Stephen King properties coming up soon. So that's really exciting.
That I just don't like how it ended the first part.
I'm still
Of
upset
that-
about Bob. I haven't forgiven them over Bob yet.
What about Bob?
That-
Bob,
that
yeah.
was another good movie.
I mean that
What about Bob?
yeah, losing Bob, that was bad, but
That hurt my
I mean
heart.
right now Sam is where Sam is.
Did you pick up though on what Bob's actual story is?
No?
Dude, it's
If
been
you
too
read-
long since I've watched the season, I have no freaking clue.
If you read between the lines with all the stuff he's telling Will about how you have to confront things and all this stuff, and what he's specifically saying, he gives a time period that he lived in this really small town that had this clown. I mean, he doesn't call it Pennywise.
It.
But if you really listen to what he's saying, it's like he's inferring that he lived in Derry during this time, but he
Right.
didn't have any friends,
Yeah.
so he wasn't involved in
Right.
what was going on. It was just the way he
Right.
talked about it that was like really fucking
Oh, so you're talking about Patient Zero that started the whole mess.
no, Bob.
No. Bob was going to be Will's possible father-in-law.
Stepfather, yeah, because they were
Or
good.
stepfather, yeah.
yeah. In season 2.
Father-in-law.
Vaguely recall that, and it was sounded a hell of a lot like the plot to It.
Yeah, no, it really did.
Yeah, it
And
was.
It's not because legally they didn't do that, but like that's like it gave you this strong fucking vibe that that's what in their world, like that's what it was supposed to have been. It wasn't, but that's the vibe. It's fucking brilliant. He was a good character too. Like he was a good human fucking being. Like maybe the best human being that's ever even been in that series. It's nuts.
Yeah, if you could somehow combine that in with Super 8,
Oh, I love
that'd be an
Super 8.
interesting crossover,
Another movie about Ohio that I love.
and Aliens.
Yep. I fucking
Super
love
8 was
Super 8.
really good though.
Mm-hmm. That's
'Cause
one of my
it still
favorite
had the
alien
same
movies of all
teen
time.
vibe.
Oh yeah, it was like E.T. meets Fire in the Sky, kind of.
Roy.
Or V.
Well, he wasn't trying to blend in to be human, so I don't. The V thing I don't know about, but I do love
Well,
V. I like the original V.
oh.
The TV show they did in the 2000s on Sci-Fi was terrible.
I like doing these shows with you guys because I like have a whole bunch of notes of different stuff I need to check out.
You're just making me bring up like a whole bunch of shit that I watched when I was a kid, and that was like 40 years ago. So
Another movie that like almost no one like believes me when I try and talk about is The Explorers.
oh, come
Also a
on, man.
space
That's a
movie.
great movie.
I know, but you'd be surprised how even people like older people, younger people, different generations just tell me that wasn't a movie. I had to actually physically pull it up and show them this stuff to like get them to
That's a
believe
great
that it was
movie. I saw
real.
that in the theater when it first came out too.
Brilliant. The only space movie I really can't stand is E.T. Because it was mislabeled and it should have been labeled as a horror film. And it terrified me as a child, like bad terrified me, like in tears terrified the fuck out of me when I was a kid. It's E.T. I don't know what it was about him, man. He scared us so bad. And I saw this
Well,
in the drive-in.
no one told her that that it was a puppet. She was going and she was freaking out. Who was it? In ET, who was that?
The little girl is Drew Barrymore.
Young girl.
Yeah, no one told that. No one told Drew that this is a robot or this is this.
Animatronic.
She was so concerned and so freaking out about, hey, how's he doing on the hospital table and this and that she wanted to bring him different things like cookies and stuff just to see how he was doing. So the staff didn't take it away from her. And the staff actually made him move over just to talk to her.
To be
And she
fair, that
thought
was
it was
also the
real.
production in which she drank and smoked for the first time as a child.
There you go. There you go.
But no, like
that
it was a terrifying movie to me as a child, though. Like seriously, it disturbed the fuck out of me. For I still couldn't tell you why, but they and my brother too. My brother was also terrified of it. My sister was kind of uneasy about it, but mom and dad mistook our tears for tears of joy. And dad knew a guy who knew a guy, and he was able to get one of those giant leather versions of ET back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And he gets on the roof and starts playing
Yeah,
strobe lights and music and weird shit and making it seem like there's an alien fucking ship landing outside. And me and my brother wake up just bawling our eyes out. And again, I just think we're so excited. We're in tears of joy. My sister comes out of her room. We come out of our room. We meet up in the hallway. My mom's all cheerful, like, go and see what's outside. There's something out there and it wants to see you. And we're like, no, thank you. Like we all started going into mine and my brother's room, the bunk beds to hide. Mom drags us out of the house, and there's strobe lights on the front porch, and there's that giant fucking doll. And I pissed myself right on that fucking front porch. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the leather ET, and I fucking pissed myself. And then it like died down, and for some reason, Mom forgot. So they did the big resurgence, like a few years later, like when it came out on VHS. McDonald's started advertising it when they came out on VHS because you could buy it from the movie from McDonald's, but also the posters. So then years later, me and my brother come home one day, still in elementary school, and see nothing but the ET posters from McDonald's all over the fucking walls. And Mom had bought the VHS for us to watch it together. And again, a complete fucking nervous breakdown. And that's when she finally realized her mistake all those years.
I had that same problem, but I had a toy that was Stripe.
Oh, Gremlins.
Off of Gremlins.
Was it the rubber bendable ones they used to make?
The rubber one that had two holes and it would bend around, and it was
I finally lost mine somewhere, like with the recent moves, and I'm fucking heartbroken because that was like something I had from my childhood. I think I still got it in the bag. Somewhere. It's got to find it.
I was just like, absolutely.
This one?
Yeah, there you go.
Remember? Yeah, yep.
They made a spaceship out of a tilt-a-whirl.
Yep, pretty much. And garbage and other assorted garbage in the junkyard.
Other assorted garbage.
And flashlights, which for some reason were totally as headlamps.
What about the Navigator? Did you ever watch the Navigator?
Flight of the Navigator, yep. Yeah. You know they're rebooting it. They're actually going to remake Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah, I don't know if you can improve upon that walnut ship that they had, though. That thing was bad.
Yeah, and fucking Paul Rubin doing the voice.
I mean, that, even for its time, that was some pretty fucking slick technology.
It was like, and it was also kind of creepy at times. Like it gave you the weird sci-fi, like the horror-ish sci-fi vibes at times, like for kids, obviously.
What about Wonderworld? That wasn't too far. That wasn't too long ago.
What was it?
You
What'd you say?
remember Wonderworld?
Wonderworld.
Yeah.
I remember
Disney came out-
Waterworld.
Yeah, I remember Waterworld too.
Wait, are you talking about the World of Tomorrow movie they made like 7-8 years ago or something like that?
Man, I am bad at saying names of freaking.
Is that what you're talking about? Had George Clooney in it?
Yes.
Yeah. That was the World of Tomorrow movie they did. That's
I'm
pretty interesting.
bad
It was a
with-
decent movie.
Familiar with that one?
I need to do research before I start speaking.
Well, no, because like if you've legitimately forgotten the name, then someone listening might have legitimately forgotten the name. This also helps them remember. So it's not a bad thing.
I'm glad because I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tomorrow. I'm not sure about that one. Very
Tomorrowland or
my
something.
mother's bridge club and let her know that ET was in my closet, and I just thought she'd want to know, then went back to bed. I don't know if that's a good thing, Carrie. That would
Sorry,
be
it was-
traumatizing.
It was Tomorrowland, based on Tomorrowland from
From-
the actual area of Disney.
I have
Yeah,
not seen
yeah.
that.
Epcot. Yeah,
it's actually nice.
it was more than 6 or 7 years ago because my time works differently in
Did
Resto.
they do the whole Space Mountain
Yeah.
thing and everything?
Oh, they did redo Space Mountain with The Rock.
yeah,
was a
with
different one.
Dwayne.
No, that's Escape the Witch Mountain.
Oh, you're right. That is Witch Mountain. It looks like Tomorrowland was 2015, so yeah, it was 9 years ago.
I saw the original Escape from Witch Mountain too,
I remember, but like that whole franchise from my childhood.
and Return to Witch Mountain.
Mhm.
I think there was
It
another-
was one of the Disney properties that did not need to be remade for any reason. The plot was never fantastic. It was never a great idea, but they did make Jungle Cruise into a movie, and I was very fucking happy with that movie. So
I
You know what
actually read
popped
the
up
book
on my
that Escape
TikTok?
from Witch Mountain was based on.
What? Me?
Demolition Man.
Oh,
seashells.
love that.
Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a
And-
minute. What's your name on TikTok?
The same as
Who,
this
Pile?
Kyle
Hazard.
Hazard. Oh, okay.
Yep.
He's Paul
Sure
Hazard.
is.
There he goes.
And it's kind of funny because I talk about different stuff on haunt stuff, and I kind of bring up some of the haunt lingo that we do.
Remember Shazam? Sorry.
What did they did with like around the same time they did ISIS, I think. The very old TV show, 70s TV show.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What
What
good?
about a movie from 2011 called Cowboys versus Aliens?
That one was good.
Harrison Ford was in that, wasn't he?
No, that was the dude that played Bond, Daniel Craig.
Right, Daniel Craig.
What do you think?
Harrison Ford was in it.
I was pretty sure he was.
Yeah, Harrison Ford is in it.
He played like his father. Or something.
I remember that one. That one. It actually was not a bad movie. I enjoyed it. Sam Rockwell was also in that one, and Olivia Wilde. Oh fuck! I forgot Paul Dano was in that too.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that. There's actually a number of famous people in it. Keith Carradine, Walton Goggins.
Anybody watch
didn't watch
last
it.
year's Rensfield?
Yes.
Oh, Renfield. Oh my god!
That was a good movie.
I haven't enjoyed Renfield so much since Leslie Nielsen's Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah, right.
That was good.
Anything Leslie Nielsen did, really.
Oh, gold. And speaking of Leslie Nielsen, oh my god, what was it called? The Police.
Naked Gun.
Thank you. Naked Gun is getting redone.
Why?
Let Sleeping Dogs Lie.
Well, it's
Don't
interesting
tarnish the
because
memory of Leslie Nielsen.
it's interesting because of who might be making it and who might be in it. Seth MacFarlane, Family Guy, etc. He's looking into some old Leslie Nielsen properties, and that's been one of the ones that have mentioned it. And I don't love Family Guy, but I like American Dad a lot, and I like a lot of the movies that he's done a lot, and I really like Orville. So because of his style of comedy,
Right.
I think he could do a good job writing it as the filmmaker. And John Hamm is actually might play Leslie Nielsen's character, and his comedy chops for like the last 6-7 years, actually a little longer than that,
And
have been amazing.
rather than remake it, they need to do a new generation, because I think that what was his name, Frank Gannon in the movie or something like that. Frank. What
Yeah, it
his
was Frank. I always fuck up his last name when I try and say it. I always forget it, but it's Frank. Yeah.
name? So if
No, I'm sorry.
he and
It's-
Priscilla Presley's characters, they got together in a movie. So if he had a kid, then you could do a next generation of Naked Gun movies using his kid as the new
Drebin.
Frank.
Yeah, that's right. Frank Drebin. Oh yeah, I agree with you. Now I will say, while he's been discussing doing different properties, Leslie Nielsen, the one that's already on paper and a deal is being formed is Airplane. That one we know is happening with
Really?
Seth MacFarlane for sure. That one is definitely happening. The Naked Gun's still in the rumor phase. But John Hamm was a part of the reprisal for Fletch, the Fletch series, and he did a very good job in that.
Yeah, I did see like a new remake of Fletch. What was it? Fletch. What was the new Fletch movie?
I read the name of it, but it was very good. It was closer to the books.
There was one of them that just came out recently. That it's Fletch after he's retired from being a journalist.
Yeah.
What was the name
And
of that movie?
It was Confess Fletch,
Confess Fletch. Yes.
2022. Yep, but yeah, John Hamm was really good in that, dude.
And he did a good job as Fletch, only because I can see, if Fletch is retired, he's going to change over time, so he's not going to look the same as he did before. And we all know Chevy Chase is Fletch. So
No, yeah. Well, they were supposed to do a reboot years ago, like a full-on reboot. And the actor Jason Lee was going to be playing him, which would have also fucking truly been brilliant because of like just the style of comedy that Jason Lee does is fucking fantastic.
So
There's a
John Hamm will be doing Leslie Nielsen's character in Airplane, or would he be
That
playing Stryker?
that is a rumor that he would be Frank Drebin. Like it's just a rumor right now. It's something that's been mentioned. Like so we know that we're getting Airplane, and there's also a rumor that he might be playing Leslie Nielsen's character in Airplane as well. So I think it's just a lot of conjecture, people wanting that, and him thinking, oh, that would be cool if Airplane worked out, kind of a thing.
Captain Unger.
So Ron, I got a movie for you that you should watch sometime.
Show Police Squad should also be remade. The show was funny. I
It
thought
was.
that's what Naked Gun was made from. Police Squad.
And Police Squad Files.
Police Squad.
This is called The Haunted World of El Super
Super
Beasto.
Beasto, Rob Zombie animated film.
The animated movie.
If you've not seen this,
I've seen it.
don't show it to your kids.
Tits, drugs, and luchadors.
Yeah, I've seen
Like,
it.
Remember
like
that first
the
came out?
warning, the warning on that thing was absolutely, yeah. I mean, I love Rob Zombie movies, I really do, but that one just made me question a lot of things, just because I guess it was too cartoony for me to really be into a Rob Zombie movie.
Oh, it was. I mean, it wasn't a traditional Rob Zombie project, though. I mean, first it was animated.
No, it wasn't.
And it was out there. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I like most of his stuff. I mean, I know he gets a lot of shit. Sherry Moon gets a lot of shit. I think she's a great actress for what the roles that she plays, and she plays them well. But here's what kills
Right.
me: why is the biggest complaint about Rob Zombie movies? Oh, he hires all his friends.
So
Are we not
So did
thinking
Adam
about Monty
Sandler?
Python? Yeah, Happy Madison, Monty Python. I mean, there's tons of people who literally make films with all the same people because that's their family. That's what they love.
Tim
Look
Burton.
at yeah, Clint Eastwood. Every single member of his cast and crew, or every single member of his crew, he only hires the same people for the 50 plus movies that he's directed and done because they're good at what they do. He wants to do one take and one take only, and that's what he does. So all these people, it's okay when they do it, but when Rob Zombie does it, it's a weird problem for some reason.
Tim Burton.
Right.
Well, I bet Danny Elfman's going to do the music for it. Oh, I bet Johnny Depp is going to be in it. Oh, I bet if Johnny Depp's in it, then Helena Bonham Carter is going to be in it.
And my response is, I hope so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because these are people that absolutely,
If it ain't broke,
make it-
don't fix it.
Right.
yeah.
And if
The
you
one
don't love
actor-
what you're doing, don't do it.
The one actor I wish that we would have is Jim Carrey. I wish that Jim Carrey would continue, but there again, I
Well,
understand
he
that
did.
Jim.
He did a whole TV show that just saw an end just a couple years ago. Then he retired again. Then he came back again for the second Sonic movie. Then he retired again, and he's gonna come out again for the third Sonic movie and possibly some other stuff if he feels like it.
Oh, so he is going to come back for the third Sonic. I've not seen it.
See, the thing is, he's
They're almost kinda
retired.
have to.
He's retired at this point in time, unless something that sounds really fun and just like a good time to him, like just a really fun time to
He
him
doesn't
pops
have
up.
to work. He's
Yeah.
got money.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Jim Carrey came up, and it was funny because everybody didn't know what song he was going to play when he was doing Dr. Robotnik and he was doing all the research and all the fingers. All of a sudden, they come and they start playing this thing, and this is his music he chose to play, and he's dancing to it and doing all this stuff and this and that. And they all just looked at him like he was nuts. But it worked so well, and he did a great job as the Grinch. And in that one scene, he was supposed to pull that tablecloth off, and all the dishes were supposed to go. And as soon as it didn't happen, he turned around, he went back up, and he just wrecked that entire thing, and then marched off.
Yep.
And they said, "This is great." And he goes, "Well, you mean it's great? It didn't work."
Yeah.
And
And he-
he made a comment. He goes, "If it wasn't for the Grinch makeup, I would so tell them to figure out how to make another Grinch."
Well, now
But
they
that
are.
makeup was that
Yeah,
Grinch
he
makeup
has
was
been on
terrible.
record stating that was like one of the hardest jobs he ever had, with wearing that makeup all those long hours.
They called in a CIA specialist for torture training for him.
Michael Myers had that same exact thing when he did Cat in the Hat. Like the amount of the makeup team, because it was the same. I don't know if it was the same makeup team or some similar people, but like he talked a lot about how the hell he went through with Cat in the Hat.
Oh, that's so funny because you said it. You said Michael Myers. It's Mike.
I meant Mike
Myers.
Myers. Sorry, yeah, sorry.
I was thinking the guy
About
coming in with a knife, chasing the kids with a fish.
I mean, he was in So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Right.
Yeet! I swear,
That just made me.
that boy's head is so big.
My wife has never seen any of the Austin Powers movies, not one of them, and it breaks my heart.
Oh, behave, baby.
Introduce her
number two work for?
first, and then do Austin Powers.
Mud.
I mean,
Money!
she knows who Mike Myers is. Like, she's a Wayne's World fan. Like, she gets it. Like, she knows who he is. She's seen a lot of his stuff, but like, she's just never seen that. So I gotta get her super high one day and just put it on. Like when she walks in the room, it's gotta be on.
What movie? My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
That was
Yeah, I
good.
saw that.
That was a good one.
Where she goes and she's flying and she throws that damn shark.
Shark.
It is almost midnight, guys. Do we want to wrap this? It's been almost 3 hours.
We should
almost
probably wrap soon.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
what a good beat is to rap to.
There was something that I did want to talk about. We were going to talk about New Year's resolutions. We can talk about that next
Yeah,
time.
we were.
We'll
That got
save
thrown
that.
out.
You tell us this now at the end of the show?
We were going to talk about that, but time.
I don't have any.
I didn't get to do the usual thing I do, where I break down for a minute and talk about kind of like mental health and things like that. Because guys, remember that is one of the main reasons we do this show. If we can get that ticker on the bottom, that would be awesome. But the good news is, like when we have shows like this, it's because we're not focusing. Like we're reminiscing, we're having such a good time that we're having that ability to not focus on the things in life that are keeping us down. So there was a
Right.
big part of my writing life that I walked away from 2 years ago. I used to be really big and active with No Sleep, with Creepypasta, and other online writing forums. And I had some bad situations that kind of made me stop doing this thing that I very much loved. And, for a while, I was like, I never mattered. I never made a difference. I was never that good. Went off and did my traditional writing thing. And then right around Christmas, I started getting these little hints. People that I used to talk to and hang out with in those days just messaged me Merry Christmas. I was messaging them to talk to them for a minute. And all these kind of things coalesced. And then I had a conversation with one of the largest authors on there, who I'm not going to name because I didn't ask for permission. That's attached with No Sleep. And they really encouraged me to go back and start doing that again. So about 3 nights ago, I kind of bit the bullet and I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time. So I kind of rejoined a lot of things, rejoined the Discords I left long ago with all these people, and I posted a story. And that story can be found somewhere on Reddit under my Reddit name, which you'll have to discover for yourself. because it's fun to look things up. It blew the doors off any story that I had ever posted with Creepypasta or No Sleep before. I mean, like within, I think now it's at like, I'll have to look at the upvotes because upvotes are really weird. They're like 45 or 46,000 people have read this story.
Hmm.
Or at the very least, click the link and had it up on their screen because that's how for a period of time, that's how their clicker works. Most people won't upvote or downvote on Reddit. Most people don't take the time. So I ended up getting like, I think I'm right around like 240 upvotes, which for No Sleep in a story that's been up for now like 3 days is fucking amazing. And before, I think my record was like barely over like 103, 104. So not only did I get to like go back to something I love, it was like this crazy fucking welcome home, like here you are, you're back, blowing up kind of situation. I've had like 6 or 7 different narrators contact me already wanting to narrate it. Like the whole point of this story is, because I'm getting away from the point now, is that sometimes you hit that point in time where there's something that you love and you let other people take that away from you. And the takeaway lesson there is, if you truly do something, love something, to not allow people to talk you into not doing it, not let people ruin experiences for you. And if you do, it's okay to go back to that thing. Like once you've calmed down, once the smoke is cleared, it's really important in your life to reconnect with those things that you loved that made you, again, like I said last time, part of who you were. Because part of who you were can still be part of who you are if you let it. And it might be a really positive change for you. So that was my little foray into reconnection. It turned out great.
I believe the idea behind padded cells to give people an outlet in order to vent, rant, rave about anything that's going on, and basically as a mental health check to make sure everybody's doing okay. If they need some place to vent, rant, rave, or somebody to talk to, then it gives them an outlet for them to do that. But just like the beginning of the show says, the show is about nothing. Seriously, we have no idea what's going on. And I think tonight's show is actually kind of a prime example of that, because I think we spent the majority of the time talking about old movies and TV shows and superheroes and comic books and all kinds of stuff. So, when you're able to do that and the camaraderie of just talking about shit like that, I think it's a pretty good indication that everybody's mental health is pretty stable at this time. If they're not ranting and raving and venting about other things, the fact that we can carry on those kinds of conversations, it means maybe my mental health is okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's part of that reconnection to your past, your childhood, all these things that we loved, and it's an awesome to be able to take that trip down memory lane with people you care about. It's cathartic.
And I'll also say, when it comes into depression is one of those things that it doesn't hit you all the time. In a lot of cases, it just something can feel off and this and that, and you question a lot of things. And sometimes it's okay to be a little depressed, but it's never okay to be destructive with that depression.
True.
And recently this week, I can actually admit that was like a big thing for me. I just didn't feel right. I was down. I was working on some stuff, and I just wanted to get away from the situation. And where do you really go? And you talk to people, and they can tell that you're off. Yeah. And the best thing is to just kind of talk to somebody if you have somebody special. And this whole thing was coming at me on Friday, and Friday was also a great day because I had the opportunity to talk to one of my friends Friday, and it brought me out of that slump. It really did, because there is something that's pegging my brain so hard that this was the only time I could actually start working on myself again.
Definitely. And speaking of depression, Jenny, because you don't have to do those really messed up segues.
Wow, what a segue!
Wow,
Jenny, how's your depression doing lately?
No, the inappropriate segues is an inside joke with me and Jenny and Dell. Like it's something that I do to them on purpose, just to fuck with them because I love them.
This is like the least weird one he's thrown at me.
It is. It really is.
The weirdest one he's thrown at me. Well, the one I thought was weird. I had actually been I'd looked up and been studying about because I am just that odd. So yeah,
The first one was a suicide one I did to Dell, not even thinking about it. That one was bad.
yeah. Well, the first one you did to me was still about death, but luckily
Yeah,
it
it was,
wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, depression is hard, and when you feel bad about what you love, and you've had so many people tell you you're no good, it changed colors. Why did it change colors? Anyway, when you've had so many people tell you how bad you are at it, and that you shouldn't do it because you will never be as good as this person or this person. And then you finally find the right group of people that are like, yeah, you did great at that. Let's do some more together. And you get to share things. And sometimes that takes 33 years. Sometimes it takes 33 years to find that right group of people, but you will find that right group of people that will believe in you, and they'll let you be you. And as much as you believed in them without even knowing them, they'll reciprocate when they start talking to you. That has just keep looking, because you will not have that friend group you saw on TV. No, you'll have something entirely different that's just for you. And sometimes that friend group is going to be entirely small. But sometimes just that one or two people is all you need to get through.
Definitely.
And
So
you can always come on Padded Cell and talk about shit and get it off your chest. And
I, honestly, when you're feeling depressed, you can have 10,000 people around you, and you can feel so alone.
you'll
But
still be
that
depressed.
one person that makes a connection with you, or that one person that you actually want to enjoy a little time with, that right there means a lot more than having 10,000 people around you.
Yep.
oh
Definitely.
yeah.
The way I look at it is we are 7 days into the new year. That means that there's 358 days left to go. So we can just go ahead and accept now that that's a lot of time, and there's going to be some days where we're not feeling our best, that we're going to be depressed, we're going to be down on ourselves. But how many days of our lives have we survived 100% so far that far outweighs just the couple of days that maybe you spend, in that depressive state? So you've got a lot of time left in the year to deal with it, and find the people that you need to connect with to help you get through it.
Yeah.
And honestly, you don't have to go from calendar year to calendar year. I mean, just because we as humans set time frames in days of the year left does not mean that depression cannot be done by this time or whatever. It's one of those things that we don't need to set a time. I mean, you need any help, you need to talk to somebody, you need to do something, you don't feel quite right, listen to the ones that are around you. And if you're a friend to one of these people, don't be afraid to talk to them. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one of the biggest problems with some of this is, oh, they've got it, they'll handle it. I don't want to butt in. I don't want be that secure line for somebody. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. If you have a secure line, you're at better odds. I mean, I can't get over looking at this rhino behind you, by the way.
I couldn't get over it either. My kid drew me a Pokemon. I am the most proud, happiest mom in the world. And I'm just going to say that right here on the show.
It's
And I
very
don't
cute.
care what anybody thinks. My kid drew me a Pokemon. I'm happy.
Fuck yeah. There is something I want to say, guys. So I got a new mop, right? George, my friend, he gave me this mop. It's a good mop. It's not as good as my first mop. I missed my first mop, but it's still a good mop. Sometimes you just have to take what life throws at you. Because life is like a mop, and sometimes life gets full of dirt and crud and bugs and hairballs and stuff. Well, you got to clean it out. You got to put it in there and rinse it off and start all over again. And sometimes life sticks to the floor so bad that a mop is not good enough. A mop, it's just not good enough. You got to get down there with it. With a toothbrush, you know, you got to scrub. You got to get it all off. You got to really try to get it all off. And if that doesn't work, you can't give up. You got to stand right up, run to the window and say, hey, these floors are dirty as hell,
and I'm not
going
gonna
to take it anymore.
That right there just makes me feel like if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a dodgeball. I'm just saying. I was so confused what was going on. Then all of a sudden I looked down at Ron, and Ron's like, yeah, get on there. Get on there. You almost got it. You almost got it.
Damn word.
And I was like,
I've actually been talking about that monologue for like a couple different padded cells now. I was like, you know,
Over?
I'm talking about UHF. Today's the
It's
day.
not over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Germans? Forget it. He's on a roll. Hell no. It ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough,
the tough get 'em up,
up
right?
and going. Now who's with me? Come on. Ah!
So I got one of those Crystal Force cedar mops. And I can honestly say, yes, I agree. You need a better mop.
Or toothbrush.
I didn't need one after
All
that.
right.
It made me happy.
So going forward, Pyle, where can we find you? Because I know you hate it when we ask you this question, so I'm asking you first.
Well, we found out you have a Facebook page. You have a TikTok. I didn't know you
I
had
do.
TikTok.
You know what? I got a Facebook page. I have an Instagram. I have a TikTok. And honestly, my TikTok is one of those things that I just think of random things and I just post it. But it's all basically the same. It's under Pyle Hazard. It's all one word. It's Pyle Hazard on Facebook is just like you see it up here. Well, not capital L and not capital E. Facebook didn't like that, and they said go away. And if it could get better, Pyle Hazard and my real name got in an argument, and they blocked my real name. So, you know what? Apparently, I just need to stay as Pyle Hazard because that's how you find me.
Great. I will get those added to the list.
That's. And I made a comment to Raz. I was like, it just catches me off guard every time. Why do you people want to find me?
Well, I mean, we know sometimes you live in Rob's basement once in a while. So. I know that's a callback, but you know, if you've seen the episode, you've seen it, and you'll understand. If not, I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? That worked.
So, Ron,
yes,
where can we
do we
find
find
you?
Ron?
Hi. Oh my god, I'm up on the big screen. My head is this big.
You're so
you can
quiet.
Find me on TikTok under Wolf Dojo or Wolf Sensei. I make a lot of martial arts related content. I also have a channel on YouTube as well, which is also Wolf Dojo, I believe. Wolf Sensei, either one, you should be able to find it. I don't have an author page, although I've been talking, and hopefully my book will be out sometime next month. We are trying to finalize the details with coming up with a cover and all that happy mess.
And that's with Facor, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
that is with
Facor.
Facor Publishing. Hopefully it will be the first of many. So I'm greatly looking forward to that. And then I
hope
think
so.
once I do that, then I will have an author page, and I will be able to put up all of my links there. Most of my stuff is still martial arts related. So if you're into that sort of thing, but you can also find me at Raz's mom's house.
Yep, that's true. I caught him over there last week. It was hilarious. I mean, but she does have a nice pool, so I get it.
Yeah, okay.
You can find me at raztslasher.com. Type in Raz T Slasher also, just in general, anywhere, all the social medias. If you want to talk to Jenny, that's half of her where you can find her pitches, just mine and Dell's stuff, really. because she is my personal superhero and does so many amazing things for me. Also, like I mentioned, I've been back to the Reddit area. You can find me anywhere on Reddit under It Sees You. Just simple, It Sees You. I'll explain that one of these days. But yeah, that's my big thing. I'm doing the big Reddit push right now and my big website push. So yeah, come
Is that
see all
what
the
it
things.
says when you look down? It sees you.
Okay, real quick, like 2-second explanation. It's from D&D, being a dick DM, where you roll to see what's going on, and you're like, okay, everyone, roll initiative. It sees you, and everybody's like, what? What sees me?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my quick explanation. Jenny, where can we find you other than all mine and Dell's things and Fake Horse things?
Yes, you can find me on Fakor. You can find me on Raz's things, on Delphine/Carrie Lee Sanders things. You can find me on Ally. And if you really, actually, honestly want to speak to me, find me
And
at
you
Friday
should.
with the Library in the Blue Box. And my book group is Friday's Disorganized Library. Because I am organized and disorganized at the same time.
There's a certain order in chaos. You
What?
know?
Where can we find your rhino?
You can. It was in the newsletter last year, and the
What,
Fake
the
Horn
rhino
newsletter.
behind you?
Yeah.
Patty.
Oh.
She asked if she
I
could
remember
put
that
her
newsletter.
rhino in the newsletter, and Patty's like, "Yes, we want her art."
So
My
sign up to
kid
the Fake
has
Horror
been to-
newsletters.
Yeah, I do all the Fake Horror newsletters. I don't do all the stuff in them, but I am in
And
them.
everything
And my
froze up
kid,
on me.
my sister, other poets, other artists, other authors.
I've even done some really weird shit in there before.
Yeah.
I need to do another Ask Raz.
Yes, another
That's a
Ask
good one.
Raz, and we would like you to actually do the audio for the rest of the Jim's Cabins.
Oh shit!
Raz
Yeah,
or
I need
Ask
to write into one of
Raz?
those. Ask
'Cause
Raz.
you-
Ask Grabs.
It's like Ask Dr. Stupid for Ren and Snippy. That's what I got it off of, and it's that level of comedy.
but
But yeah,
yeah,
I
'cause
forgot about that.
Jim's Cabins were featured in the newsletters.
There is audio for one of them on my YouTube. Actually, I did an actual full production of the first Jim's Cabin.
You will find the link randomly on his page 3 or 4 times because I keep adding it in random places.
That's my microfiction series that I started and have not written another one in quite some time.
Yeah, he did like 2 or 3 of them and just stopped.
Speaking of
You
which,
know what?
Raz,
I'm-
whenever we do another campfire stories, I want to read the short story that I just finished writing today.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing. So
I think
we should
you'll like
explain this to our people at home. So this is the last episode of our fall season. I know we probably should have started our winter season by now, but holidays, that I pretend don't exist. So starting tomorrow actually is the beginning of our winter programming. And here's how we're breaking it down so you guys know what you can find on different nights. So Mondays is our Monday Night Macabre series. Starting this Monday, you will get our first Tomb of the new season, Tomb of the Terrible. And then that'll be on that Monday, it's every other Monday for Tomb. And the show opposite of that is mine and Jenny's show, Legends by Night, which is about haunters, weird paranormal things, aliens, just very strange things. So those are going to be that's our Monday lineup. It'll alternate every Monday at 9 p.m. You'll get a Tomb one week and a Legends the next. Thursdays going forward, we don't have a fancy name for Thursdays yet, but we're getting there. We're going to be going back and forth between Unprinted Pages and Dungeons and Dragons. A new was Allied Adventures is what we're calling it, where I'm going to run some people through some games. So we're excited about Thursdays for sure. Sundays is where things gets a little tricky because we have a lot of shows which have always been like a once a month type show. That's what Padded Cell used to be, only once a month, and now it's our fuck around show. So Sundays is going to be a lot of different shows. You're going to have Clutch show up now and then on a Sunday. You're going to have let's see, gosh, what else? Clutch, the Owlite Picture Show, which is a show all about cinema. We're going to do it's like an interview show about cinema basically. We'll have I'm sure random Padded Cells in there, but Padded Cells will be just whenever we feel like it from now on. And a couple of other different rotating shows we're working on. So Sundays is our Think Cthulhu It's Sunday lineup, and it's magical because until the week of, you never know which one of our shows is going to be there. It's like our mystery Sundays. So that's kind of how we're working our schedule from now on. Again, starting with Tomb of the Terrible tomorrow.
Yay.
I have put up the poster and the spin so you guys can see what's happening tomorrow.
Trick or treat. Not trick or treat, but trick or treat. So we're clear on this.
Yeah.
I love trick or treat, but I don't want y'all go at home to go and watch the wrong movie.
Yes. Make sure you watch the one with Ozzy and Gene Simmons.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's a wonderful, cheesy as fuck 80s horror movie. 1986. Thank you, Deb.
Yep. Same year I started high school.
That was the year I was
1986.
born.
1986. That's when I was born.
1982.
Ooh, by the way, since we're bringing up Born, guess what Thursday is?
What?
Your
Thursday
birthday?
is the 11th, and it is my birthday.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, awesome.
That's why Roz needs to go with me to Ponderosa.
I'm going with you. We're going on Saturday. On
birthday-
Saturday.
You can be born again.
What's
My
that?
birthday
So
present
you can be
for
born
you
again.
is
I couldn't hear
My
you, Jenny. What?
birthday- my birthday present for you is working on that thing we were doing.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, that would be amazing. That could be my birthday present every single year from since I was born till day I die.
Okay, because I figure we'll get all three of them done. Raz has been tagged to help.
Okay, I have no idea what we're talking about.
I'll explain more after we end stream.
Sounds. Speaking of ending the fucking stream, don't forget to spay and neuter your friends.
Accomplished.
I tried. He called the cop.
Maybe you spayed and neutered the wrong one. You know, I think like spay is for cats and neuters for dogs or something like that.
I don't know which one it is. I'm just happy I got it done. So yeah, either way,
Well,
Neutered.
Bye-bye.
spaying is for the female cat or dog, and neutering is knocking off the nuts. So
Snip.
either way. So everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.